Okay, it's the curtain raiser, so we'll raise the curtain with John Murray.
On what is, Ian, a beautiful afternoon. The sun is shining brightly on Wembley Stadium. It's a new season, we have new managers and a new lineup for the Community Shield. It's never been Manchester United versus Wigan Athletic before. And Wigan Athletic it is who will get the game underway. Wigan in the blue and white striped shirts, blue shorts, blue and white striped socks. And Manchester United, David Moyes' Manchester United in the red shirts, the white shorts and the black socks. Of course, it's a big day for football because technology comes to football today. The goal decision system, GDS, is in place. And the man in the middle, the man in black today, standing in the shadows at Wembley, waiting for the nod from the TV people, is Mark Clattenburg. So whether we will have a referral to GDS, we'll wait and find out. That's all part of the mix this afternoon. So Wigan Athletic are being made to wait. A championship club now, of course, after their relegation from the Premier League, but brilliantly FA Cup winners last season. That is why Wigan Athletic are here, and they get the game underway and play it back towards the edge of their own penalty area. Wigan Athletic against the Premier League champions Manchester United, and we are underway now at Wembley, and we'll be back here shortly because we've got to go to Chesterley Street. First of all, Pat Murphy.
Key wicket, Alistair Cook is out, caught behind off Harris for 22, trying to smash it through the offside. That is a major blow. He looked very positive. It's 42 for 2. England lead by just 10, so they're 10 for 2, and in comes Kevin Peterson. This could be the decisive session of this test match, John.
Thank you, Pat. Commentary continues. 5 Live Sports Extra, Radio 4 198 long wave, and you can find it via the BBC iPlayer radio app. But Manchester United playing the ball back to De Gea. He's in goal. De Gea, back four of Raphael, Jones, Vidic and Evra. Midfield, Carrick, Cleverley and Giggs. Zaha, Wilfried Zaha making, I think you would have to call it his competitive debut for Manchester United, even if it is the Community Shield. He's on one side, Welbeck on the other, and Robin van Persie up front. Obviously no Wayne Rooney, others not involved. Ferdinand, Hernandez, Nani, Young, for a variety of reasons, mainly injury, and not involved in the 18 today. And Wigan Athletic have 6 new summer arrivals in their teams. James McLean is making his debut today. Their team in a moment as Van Persie chases the ball towards the edge of the area, but Craney, the Wigan left back, plays it to his goalkeeper Carson, who belts it out of play on the far side. So this is the Wigan team. Only 4 of them started the FA Cup final in May here. Ben Watson came on as a substitute, remember, and scored the winning goal late in the match. He's in the team today. Carson in goal, back four of Boyce, Perch, Barnett and Craney. Midfield is Watson, McCarthy and MacArthur, Maloney, McLean and Holt, the Wigan Athletic team. Manchester United in this first half playing from right to left, and United play the ball back to their captain, Nemanja Vidic, who just turns and strokes the ball out towards Patrice Evra. So familiar, those two of United's old stagers now. And United with the oldest stager of them all, Ryan Giggs, starting the game, the player coach. Back it comes to Giggs, low ball towards the edge of the area. Welbeck takes it down, loops it into the box. Evra's continued his run, half cleared away by Wigan, and then it takes a deflection on the edge of the box, back to goalkeeper Carson. So with us here in the Wembley sunshine is Kevin Kilban, who played for Wigan but also played for the new Manchester United manager David Moyes in your time at Everton, Kevin. So familiar with both sides, really.
Yeah, I mean, just looking at Wigan there, from Wigan under Martinez as well, they wouldn't really, certainly what they've just done now, go long as early. They certainly looked at hitting Grant Holt quite early in the early stages of this game, tried to go long in the early stages, tried to put United under pressure in their own final third, which Roberto Martinez tended to try to use the build-up strategy from the back on virtually the whole time he was in charge.
And I know David Moyes has already travelled far and wide with their pre-season tour, but how unreal is it to see somebody else walking out leading a Manchester United team with the red and white striped tie and the Manchester United blazer on? I would describe it as that, unreal to see someone else there.
It is. You know, my whole footballing career, as long as I can remember watching football, Sir Alex Ferguson has been manager of Man United. So when the decision was made, what was it, towards the end of May, April time, wasn't it, when he announced he was retiring, you know, it was a huge shock, and then the way that Man United dealt with it very, very quickly and appointed David Moyes, I think to many people that was a shock as well. So whoever United was going to appoint was going to have a difficult task of emulating him.
Yep, Manchester United beginning a season with a new manager for the first time for over a quarter of a century. I suspect you would have been at school, Kevin, when he was appointed in 1986.
That's right, yeah.
Just got a stoppage.
9 years old, yeah.
9 years old. Crikey. Almost primary school. Free kick to United. Just Phil Jones just going in quite heavily on James McCarthy, who I think might be winded. Just caught an arm in his back, Phil Jones, but he's back up on his feet, and it's a free kick to Wigan just inside the Manchester United half. The pitch is completely split lengthways at the moment. Half of it in sunshine and half of it in the shadows. And Wigan actually take this free kick short into the centre circle. And it's just touched back to Craney, the shaven-headed Craney, who's signed from Blackpool. Now it comes towards the right-hand side to the FA Cup final winning captain Emerson Boyce, who will turn and play it all the way back to goalkeeper Carson, who's back in English football, having returned from Turkey after his 2 seasons with Bursaspor, the former England goalkeeper. Wigan with the ball on the right-hand side, but Evra clears it into the centre circle to Van Persie, who's beaten in the challenge but does well, nimbly nips it back. Now Carrick forward towards Zaha, who loses it on the halfway line, and Wigan Athletic have got it back halfway inside their own half. So it's Manchester United 0, Wigan Athletic 0 here on BBC 5 Live. Ben Watson's given the ball away. That was a little careless, and it is Zaha, Manchester United's only new signing in their team here today. Now the ball on the right hand side with Raphael. His cross is headed away by Watson, just cushioned it out towards the left, and it's cleared away up the line. Yeah, Wilfried Zaha, first time we've had a chance to see him in the game, Kevin, today.
Yeah, very impressive through the pre-season, one of United's really star performers. And I think, you know, he's another one. It's you come to the big clubs and you kind of get thrown the deep end, and you either sink or swim, and Zaha seems to me he's got the personality to cope with playing for Man United.
Flick from Giggs to Van Persie, who does well and turns the ball out to the space on this left hand side. Evra's cross towards the back post, header into the net. It's Van Persie. That was wonderfully done by Van Persie. A steered header beyond the dive of Scott Carson, inside the goalkeeper's right-hand post, and Manchester United take a 6-minute lead here. And Van Persie, Robin Van Persie, starts the new season just like he finished the old one. He's the goal scorer, and it's Manchester United 1, Wigan 0.
Yeah, it was brilliantly worked by Manchester United there. Sean Maloney playing on the right-hand side for Wigan, didn't track his runner with Patrice Evra coming on down the United, bombing on down the United left-hand side. Initially Van Persie played a wonderful ball out to Evra, and then Evra with a great ball into the box and a wonderfully guided header by Van Persie.
So Van Persie scores here. Meanwhile at the Riverside, Pat Murphy,
Jonathan Trott is out. England 49 for 3. Harris again, he's got all 3 wickets. Splendid leaping catch down the leg side by Haddin. Trott trying to help a bounce around to the fine leg boundary. At 49 for 3, England are in effect 17 for 3.
Thank you, Pat. Van Persie, the goal scorer, with the ball on the left-hand side, scoring with his head. United's opening goal. Giggs with the cross, though, sweeps it high beyond everyone inside the penalty area, and it bounces down for Zaha, who had to work it back, which he does well, actually, to Carrick. Then a low ball from Carrick towards the edge of the area. Welbeck is there. Little right foot touch from him to Evra. Evra, whose cross supplied the goal for Van Persie, who's still on the left wing here and actually loses possession. And then, well, he would have fouled his man McCarthy if he'd gone down McCarthy, but he carries it on and takes it to the edge of the area. And now Boyce with a cross. That's over everyone towards the left-hand side. McLean into the game for the first time. He lifts the ball back across the Manchester United box. Evra steers a header away, and then United complete the clearance.
It really opened up for James McCarthy there. He was driving forward. He did really well to outpace Van Persie initially. Once he was 25 yards out, it opened up for him. The United defence had backed right off him. I thought he should have took the shot on. Decided to play it wide to Emerson Boyce.
Manchester United winning 1-0 here on 5 Live at Wembley in the Community Shield. And I noticed in more than one place this was described as a no-win game for David Moyes in his first game of this nature for Manchester United. But I would say of the things that he will have wanted, an early goal will have been pretty high on the list.
Yeah, definitely. I was actually talking to one of the United coaches before the game, Jimmy Lumsden, and he said to me, Van Persie will score a hat-trick today. He said he's been that good through the last few weeks in training, so, you know, that's the start of it, I suppose.
And not only that, you know, the thought occurred to me, as I was coming to the game this morning, you know, we have been obsessed almost with talk about Wayne Rooney. There's been no mention at all about Robin van Persie, what he might do. The two fantastic seasons that he's had. His first season with United, 30 goals, top scorer last season. And then before that, season before his last with Arsenal, 37 goals in all competitions. And here he is, very quietly coming into the season and scoring with 6 minutes on the clock.
Yeah, I mean, it was an incredible header, really. You know, the run that he made, he must have been 12, 14 yards out. He was towards the edge of the box. It was a wonderful header, but it goes to show that Van Persie does have everything. We know he's decent in the air. We know that he's got all the technical ability, but he also works hard as well. He is the complete player, and he's proving that now. United have bought him at just the right time.
Yeah, we've been very quick to point out what David Moyes hasn't got and what he might want that he hasn't yet received. But one thing he does have is Van Persie, who, well, he must be among the top 10 players in the world, if not the top 5.
Exactly. I mean, Mike Phelan was saying before as well, like the back four as well. The back four of United are very, very strong right now. It's an ageing back four, but they're very well organised.
Here's Welbeck now to Zaha. Zaha beats Craney one way, but then the covering challenge came in from McLean, who was back there. McLean still battling with it on the left-hand side, put under pressure, but Wigan work it away up towards Grant Holt, who I'm not sure whether has touched the ball yet. And here he doesn't either, because it's put out of play by Raphael for a throw into Wigan. 1-0 Manchester United lead.
He's one I'd like to see this season as well, Phil Jones. Can he establish himself as a real great Man United centre-half? There's a lot of talk about him saying that, you know, he can play midfield, he can play full-back, but they see his long-term position as being a centre-half, and I'd like to see him progress there. And if he can do that, he's young, he's a wonderful talent. Let's see if he can really produce and be the player that everyone expects him to be.
Yeah, I don't know how much we can read into whatever happens today, with it being the Community Shield. But one thing that certainly did catch my eye was the fact that it was Jones alongside Vidic, and you do wonder whether David Moyes is going to say, right, well, you're going to be my central defensive partnership for the start of the season.
Yeah, I mean, Rio Ferdinand playing his testimonial Friday as well. I think it'd be difficult for him with the injuries he's had, with back problems. He's had to play 2 games in a few days, but that sends a message to me too, that he sees Phil Jones as a natural centre-half.
Manchester United very much settled by that early goal. Here is Carrick, who drives it low through the middle to Giggs, who lifts it over the top of Van Persie, who is in an offside position. Ball bounced through to Carson in any case, so referee Clattenburg allows play to continue as a pigeon suddenly swoops down into our eye line from above in this lovely sunshine and then disappears out of an exit down in front of the Manchester United. So I wonder if it knew it was there. You could have been fooled for thinking it knew exactly where it was going. Ball put out of play by Wigan, and a throw into Manchester United 10 yards inside their own half. Just to let you know who is on the bench for the two teams today: goalkeeper Lindegaard for Manchester United, Johnny Evans, who we mentioned, Anderson, Smalling, Valencia, Kagawa, and young Januzaj, the Belgian under-19 international, who is highly thought of, 19 years old. And the Wigan subs, another summer signing: Chris McCann, Jody Gomez, Callum McManaman, Roger Espinoza, Noah Dicko and Marc-Antoine Fortuné, as well as goalkeeper Nichols. Manchester United winning 1-0. Robin van Persie's steered header, well taken goal it was by Van Persie. And Manchester United with the ball on the right hand side. Zaha, easily identifiable with the yellow boots on. Zaha, who did well pre-season, to the extent that when I was speaking to Roy Hodgson on the day that the England squad was announced this week, he said, Roy Hodgson, that he had spoken at length with David Moyes, and he'd spoken very highly of Wilfried Zaha. So for anyone who watched the England under-21s in Israel at the end of last season, you know, the disappointing performances from them, and Zaha was involved in that. Well, Roy Hodgson has effectively said it's a clean slate, and I'm impressed with what David Moyes has said about you.
Yeah, and it was a great way for him to finish off at Palace as well, with his form in the 3 playoff games that he had. But I think he's hit the ground running here, and you want to do that. I mentioned before, you either sink or swim. You don't get no time at Man United. He's got to really, this season now, produce the goods, or he can fade away into the wilderness over the coming years. So it's difficult for him, but he's got the talent and the ability to do it.
Manchester United leading through Van Persie's header, his headed goal in the 6th minute from an Evra cross. United just toying with Wigan at the moment. The ball played through towards Welbeck, who touches it off and then cleverly plays the ball through. It's intercepted on the edge of the area and then bounces down, but Watson couldn't keep it, and Manchester United have got it back. Here's Giggs, back towards Carrick, just left of the centre circle. Carrick rolls it out towards Van Persie, who's appeared on the left wing again. Ever is there as well, so little touch to Ever, and then Van Persie sprints away towards the edge of the box. Now here is Cleverley once more in a central position. Out it goes to the right-hand side across this absolute carpet of a pitch that we have here at Wembley. Still United with Zaha. They've kept possession for, I'm not quite sure how many passes it is now, as Cleverley plays it back towards Zaha on the right. Zaha's low ball towards the near post is just intercepted in time by Leon Barnett to put it behind for a Manchester United corner.
Outstanding football. You said there we lost count of the amount of passes. I've been really impressed with the three up front for United so early in the stage, interchanging positions with Zaha, with Welbeck and Van Persie. The three of them are moving around, and Wigan are finding it difficult to deal with that movement at the moment.
David Moyes has taken that Manchester United blazer off. He's in the coaching area. I'm thinking there might be a problem because Chris Smalling is preparing himself to come on, and actually Rafael is sitting down there, isn't he, in the shadows on the far side. So Rafael da Silva has got a problem with less than 15 minutes on the clock, and it looks as though Chris Smalling's going to have to come on to replace him at right back. Yeah,
I'm sure David Moyes won't take any chances at this stage of the season now, or with it about to start. I think take him off, certainly precautionary right now. He does look in a bit of trouble, and get Smalling on and get it dealt with.
Yep. It looks as though he was just caught by McLean. We're just seeing a replay of that on the television we've got. Just as Rafael looked to play it away, he was caught from behind by McLean sliding in, and that's the end of his afternoon. So each team in this Community Shield can make 6 substitutions, and while we're on the subject of the rules and regulations, if it's a draw after 90 minutes, there would not be extra time today. It would go straight to penalties. So of the possible 12 substitutions, here comes the first in the 16th minute. Chris Smalling coming on for Rafael da Silva, and he is warmly applauded with, as you may be aware, the vast majority of people inside Wembley this afternoon, Manchester United supporters. Corner then to resume play. Here it goes in. Carson comes for it, didn't make it. I think the defender just got to it first and nodded away. Carson's back on his feet. Zaha plays it, and it finds its way back to Jones. And now Zaha once again. Phil Jones on the right, plays it in towards Giggs. Giggs put under pressure but keeps possession. Touch towards Cleverley, just forward of the centre circle. Manchester United being forced back into the central third. Carrick now to the right-hand side. Oh, and a misplaced pass from Jones puts it out of play for a throw-in to Wigan. Kevin Kilbane.
Yeah, just as we were talking about Phil Jones, who wants to establish himself as a centre-half. He's gone to right-back with Smalling coming in centre-half, but I think, you know, it just keeps everything neat for United. Phil Jones can bomb on from that position because he has good energy.
Yep, so bang goes that theory. So Smalling and Vidic now in central defence. And Manchester United leading by a goal to nil. And David Moyes there on the edge of the coaching area. I think another thing, of all of the changes that we've got at the start of this season, you know, with Pellegrini in at Manchester City, of course Mourinho back at Chelsea, Everton with a new manager, Roberto Martinez, how will he do there? I must say, for me, the top story in terms of what I'm most looking forward to seeing is what happens with Manchester United and David Moyes. And I think the fact that the fixture list has come out and given him the start that United have, which is, if you don't know, away at Swansea next Saturday, home to Chelsea, Liverpool away, and then Crystal Palace at home, followed by the Manchester derby. I mean, that is a testing start for any club, even if you are Manchester United, but particularly so with a new manager.
It is. I mean, it's a testing start for them, of course, but I think David Moyes going in here, I said before, about he's got the personality to deal with this, to deal with the pressure that he's going to find at Man United, and he recognised that the teams are going to get the start of the season, all going to want to be turning over Man United, no matter who it is, so it'll be difficult regardless.
Ball played up towards Holt on the edge of the area. Smalling dealt with him. It's cleared away, and it's overhit through by Maloney, who's not been in the game yet. Sean Maloney, who was one of the top players, player of the year, wasn't he, for Wigan last season, and overhit the ball through for a goal kick.
Yeah, had an excellent season. They just haven't really settled, Wigan, have they? They haven't been able to string 4 and 5 passes together. I said early on about Scott Carson going a little bit more direct into Grant Holt, and that's been the thing with Wigan, where they started this game. I would expect them to maybe build from the back, playing a little bit more across along the floor, but they've not been starting doing that at the moment, so that might be something that Owen Cole might want to try and implement into the team, to be direct at times, as well as playing the football that we know Owen Cole likes to play.
Well, here they come now, Wigan, and the ball is chipped out towards the left-hand side by McCarthy, but it's over the top of Grant Holt and out of play for a throw-in to Manchester United. And Wigan really have not got going in this game at all, and are trailing to that Robin van Persie goal. I was talking to a Wigan Athletic supporter earlier on this afternoon who said to me that now, because this is the third time that Wigan have been here in 4 months, he's seen his team play more times at Wembley in that period than he has at the DW Stadium. Who would have thought that of Wigan Athletic?
It's been an incredible story, hasn't it? You know, getting to the Cup semi-final was incredible for them when they beat Everton in that quarter-final. Then to go on and beat Man City was a fabulous achievement from them. 5
Live. Manchester United beating Wigan 1-0 in the Community Shield. Evra, he was caught there by Holt just as he tried to play it infield. There were 2 Wigan players together, and it was just actually Holt and Evra came together. It was just clumsy really from Holt more than anything else, and Evra's okay. So it's a free kick to Manchester United just inside the Wigan half. And just on Wigan's history, Ian Payne mentioned before the game that Tommy Gore was among the official party. Dennis Law there for Manchester United, and Tommy Gore was representing Wigan, part of the Wigan Athletic team that won the Northern Premier League in 1975, and he played in the club's first Football League match. So great to see a little piece of Wigan's history involved in that way this afternoon as well. And Dennis Law, I noticed, gave David Moyes a very warm embrace, as if to say, good luck, mate. Here's Smalling for Manchester United on the right, and once again Smalling just allows the ball to run over the halfway line and then chips it down the line, and it is Ryan Giggs chasing after it, and it's just touched out of play for a throw-in to Manchester United next to the corner flag. Throw-in taken by Giggs, but Wigan have given it away back to Giggs on the right. Giggs, but quickly closed down by McLean, and now McLean is off and running up towards the left-hand side, but just took his eye off the ball, and then a challenge comes in from Zaha to put it out of play for a Wigan Athletics throw. So 1-0 Manchester United lead. 20 minutes played, and it's been Manchester United's 20 minutes, Kevin Kilbane.
Of course it has. Man United have been outstanding to start this game, and it's what certainly David Moyes would have wanted as well. The early goal has helped, but the way that they were playing prior to the goal, it was outstanding stuff from them really. And he's saying David Moyes wants to settle himself. You say it's a no-win situation for him, but this is a bit of pressure for David Moyes today.
Yep, here come Wigan with the ball played into the penalty area. Craney's off after it into the box, tried to cross it, hit it straight into Smalling, who was a little fortunate there that the ball dropped right at his feet, and he was able to clear it away, and then Zaha is fouled. So a free kick to Manchester United halfway inside their own half. So Manchester United winning 1-0. The Edinburgh derby is already over. Hearts won it by 1-0, and we'll keep you across all of the other football coming up during the course of the afternoon. The other 2 games in the Scottish Premiership, as it is now, start at 3 o'clock. Coventry against Bristol City from 3 as well in League One, and then Leicester against Leeds from 4:30. We'll get an update from Chesterley Street very shortly as well. England were behind by 32 runs on the first innings after Australia were bowled out for 270. But as we've heard from Pat Murphy, early wickets have fallen. We'll get your latest score in a moment or two, but Manchester United with a throw-in halfway inside their own half, which is taken up towards the halfway line where Van Persie was chasing for it, but beaten to it by Barnett, and now Boyce has got to run it back into his own right back position. All the way back to Scott Carson it goes, who passes it out, and Barnett put into pressure and rather awkwardly fell and just knocked it straight out of play on the left-hand side. Looked a little nervous there, Leon Barnett, throwing to Manchester United. Cheers from the Manchester United fans. So throwing to be taken by Evra, 10 yards back from the corner flag. He's got Welbeck at close quarters. Van Persie makes a little run out into the full-back position. Van Persie passing it from foot to foot and then overhitting the ball through for a goal kick to Wigan.
And Wigan put themselves under pressure there really. United had the throw-in in their own final third in the far end corner as we're looking at on the right hand side, and it was a couple of misplaced passes, certainly by Leon Barnett to Emerson Boyce initially, and then Leon Barnett for the second time with a misplaced pass. Ben Watson's given the ball away a few times. You mentioned before about Wigan not settling, but it's just more so been the passing, the crispness on the passing that we expect from Wigan, the way they've played over the last few years. He's not there right now.
Now we see Owen Coyle as well, who is also in shirt and tie today, which is most unusual to see him on the side of the pitch and not in shorts and a t-shirt.
It's Wembley, John.
And if ever there was a day
today,
to be in a shorts and a t-shirt, it's Wembley today in the sunshine. Wigan with it on the left-hand side, and it's with McCarthy. Back it goes towards McLean, driving forward, crosses it, took a little deflection, but that carried it straight to Smalling, who was able to take it down and volley it away towards James Perch, another of the arrivals. And Wigan Athletic with Barnett, Leon Barnett, who arrived from Norwich just a couple of days before the start of the season, straight into the team for the first match, and scored on his debut as well when Wigan won 4-0 at Barnsley. But this weekend, obviously, Wigan don't play in the Football League. They've got that game to catch up. They've also got Europa League commitments. He's got quite a handful, Owen Coyle, to deal with, hasn't he, this season?
He has this season. I mean, Wigan, of course, one of the favourites of the Championship, but the thing that's going to go against them, it's just, can the squad cope with the amount of games they've got to have to play? And, you know, you can say you can play the younger lads in Europe to try and, you know, give them a test, but Wigan don't really have a squad that's capable or big enough to cope with the fixtures that they've got. So if Owen Coyle can manage that correctly, then they're going to be favourites, but it'll be difficult.
Latest from the Test match, England 56-3. Manchester United with Evra on the left-hand side. Evra up against Maloney, turns and then moves back towards the halfway line. Manchester United absolutely dominating possession here. And now Giggs, who's dropped just inside his own half, had a look up, thought about the long pass, goes short towards Smalling, the substitute. Now Smalling again to Carrick. This is all at close quarters. Then a nice touch from Cleverley out towards the right-hand side. And Jones now at right back after the injury to Raphael. Once again Cleverley on the right-hand side. Manchester United knocking it around very nicely. And Wigan almost chasing shadows at the moment. Carrick again to Cleverley, just a few yards away from him. And then with the outside of his boot, Cleverley gives it to Jones on the right. Jones goes for the cross into the penalty area, too close to Carson, who's able to make the catch.
Again, wonderful passing, wasn't it, by Manchester United? Two touch passing, really. They seem close proximity to each other, just wonderful. And Wigan can't get close right now.
25 minutes played, Manchester United 1, Wigan 0 in the Community Shield. And in the fourth test, Pat Murphy,
59-60 for 3, Peterson on 4, Bell on 7, Harris has 3 for 32. The lead is 28. I venture to suggest, John, that this is the crucial stand of this test match between these two fine batsmen.
Yeah, and the commentary continues on 5 Live Sports Extra test match special, with Wigan coming forward here at Wembley. And Holt just turns and touches it back into the centre circle. Maloney is there, little Maloney. He'll be back here with Scotland on Wednesday night, when we'll bring you full commentary on the friendly match between England and Scotland, which I think should be a really entertaining evening in one way or another.
Yeah, it will be. It will be some good games coming up. Certainly, England have got some massive games coming up in the coming months, as well as Scotland, because they've got to play for the rankings and for the future tournament top places. So it's going to be difficult for them. I said with Sean Malone, it's his 4th time he'll be at Wembley in the last few months, as well as James McCarthy today.
Yeah, McCarthy's in the squad as well. That's right.
Both of James McCarthy playing for Ireland against England as well, his 4th time at Wembley. So there's, this Wigan side are getting very used to being at Wembley.
Yeah, and 8 Manchester United players are in Roy Hodgson's squad for Wednesday night. Ball played over the top for United, but James Perch does well. James Perch in central defence for Wigan. In his Newcastle time, I saw him play in a variety of positions, mainly midfield, but in central defence to start this season for Wigan. Perch puts it out of play, throwing to Evra, who gets it back on the left-hand side. Evra up against Barnett, who puts in the challenge, and it bounces down, and Wigan are able to bring it away through Maloney towards the halfway line. Not too many options. Giggs chasing back and wins the tackle as well against Maloney, and Manchester United have got it back. Zaha then goes back towards the halfway line. Carrick now delayed, then played it through to Van Persie, then it's lifted over the top by Giggs, back into the box, only half cleared. That's straight to Ryan Giggs. Giggs does really well, takes it down with his left foot, and then almost in the same motion gives it to Zaha on the right, who's trying 1 or 2 tricks there, and then in comes a couple of challenges. McLean in the end putting it out of play for a throw into United.
Yeah, it was excellent play by Giggs, just read the knockdown ball, initially played into Van Persie. The Wigan defence didn't clear it properly, but Ryan Giggs, he's just picking up positions at the moment that he's finding himself on the ball on regular occasions and giving it Zaha, like you're saying there as well, and Zaha looks confident himself.
Yeah, and I must say, Ryan Giggs, as we mentioned, 39 years old, will turn 40 during the course of this season. He has started this game as well as anyone.
Yeah. His movement as well, he's playing on the left-hand side quite centrally for United right now, but he's finding himself at times on the right-hand side, in behind Van Persie at times. It's his movement, you can't pick him up, and he knows the game inside out, and he's still fit as a fiddle.
In the much smaller Wigan section, we've noticed there is a banner behind their goal which says there's only one team in Wigan, which will obviously be very much contested by the fact that the Rugby League team are here at Wembley a week on Saturday, as we heard from Dave Whelan before kick-off, when they'll try and take the Rugby League Challenge Cup back to Wigan. What a double that would be if Wigan were able to hold the FA Cup and the Challenge Cup at the same time. It really would, for the town, which you know well, Kevin.
Yeah, it's incredible. You mentioned before about Wigan, where they've come from since late 70s, from the old Springfield Park to the stadium we're in now, the DW Stadium. It's incredible, really, the turnaround, the history of the club in such a short space of time, what they've done. And everybody knows about Wigan Warriors, the Rugby League club, what they are, but certainly Wigan Football Club now have been outstanding.
Manchester United, be interesting to see what the figure is in terms of possession for United in this first half. It'll be big. Ball played down the top right-hand side for Zaha. It's just hooked away from him, and then Perch comes across to stretch and headed out of play for a throw into Manchester United. Well, he has caught the eye, Zaha, no doubt, in the first half hour, and it's a throw-in that'll be taken by Jones. Zaha just walks away from him. Throw taken to the goal scorer Van Persie near the touchline on the right. Back to Jones, then angled in towards Zaha, who pulls the ball over the penalty area but got far too much on that, and it's out of play for a throw into Wigan.
Again, brilliant movement. Van Persie this time going out onto the right-hand side to find Phil Jones, played back into Zaha, just a little bit overhit, but Ryan Giggs, if he maybe angled his run a little bit better there, he could have got on the end of that.
1-0 Manchester United lead on this sun-kissed afternoon in northwest London. The spectators in the sunshine in front of us, many of them shielding their eyes from this bright sunshine. And the ball out of play for a throw-in to Wigan, 10 yards inside their own half, that Emerson Boyce will take. When he was speaking to our reporter Juliet Farrington before the game, he told her that he'd been to HMV to buy the DVD of the FA Cup final just within the last week or so. Suspect it'll be worn out before too long, you would think. Ball played over the top down the left-hand side to McLean, and then in comes the challenge from Jones to put it out of play for a throw into Wigan, 10 yards back from the corner flag. So Craney comes up to take this as the sun just disappears for a moment. Throwing for Wigan. Craney has got Maloney and McLean, but he's waiting and waiting. Manchester United there in numbers. Throwing taken back to Craney. Then the cross from McLean into the area. Holt is there, and the whistle had gone, I think, for quite a strong challenge by Holt, who threw himself in there. Whether there was a push, Mark Clattenburg spotted. It's a free kick to Manchester United in any case.
I think he gave the foul against MacArthur that was in there for the initial push. But Grant Holt coming in at the far post, really good chance for him. Great ball played in. I think it was James McLean that put the ball in. It's a wonderful cross.
Just that initial challenge, yeah, from MacArthur.
Just on Vidic, wasn't it?
Vidic, yeah. Even though Holt came in like a bull in a china shop, but put it wide in any case. So that's the first real sniff that Wigan Athletic have had, really.
Well, that's what James McLean would have wanted as well. It was a really good ball played in by him.
Now here comes Giggs on the left-hand side, but Perch comes across to slide it out of play for a throw-in to Manchester United. And David Moyes receives the ball from one of the ball boys or girls down on the touchline, and just has one or two instructions for Tom Cleverley, who's the nearest player to him. Manchester United take the throw. Now it's with Carrick, who just shuffles forward. I'm sure it'll be warm out there. Carrick turns and rolls it back towards the Manchester United captain, Vidic, and then Cleverley drops deep as well, and Cleverley lifts the pass over the top. Zaha with a run to the edge of the box, tried to twist and bring it down but failed. It was just over his head, and it's through to Carson, the Wigan Athletic goalkeeper. So 1-0 Manchester United lead with over half an hour played, and all for David Moyes going to plan.
Yeah, again, for me, just seeing Zaha with the movement coming in off that right-hand side. Craney's finding it difficult to stay with him. Maybe just a little bit under hit that pass, he would have got in, but that's where Wigan's defence are finding it difficult. Just with those front three for United, Van Persie and Welbeck as well. they can't get close to them, and that's the problem that they're finding when players are dropping off and moving around. It's difficult.
No, careless pass from Barnett, gave it away on the halfway line, has a chance to recover and does so, and plays it to Perch to his left. So now it's with Craney on the left-hand side. Craney, then it's worked back towards Barnett, who just rolls it forward towards MacArthur, and now MacArthur leaves it to McCarthy, and then Watson with a touch out towards the left-hand side. Craney trying to make ground up that left-hand side, leaves it to McLean, just arrived this week from Sunderland, James McLean, swapping the Premier League for the Championship, which I must say I raised something of an eyebrow about.
I think he struggled really last season at times, James McLean, after his initial, say, 6-8 month spell under Martin O'Neill. The season before he was outstanding, and he made the Irish European Euro 2012 squad, but last season he did struggle at times, and I think this might be a fresh start that he needs. By all accounts, he's taken a pay cut to come here as well, so James McLean showing that he wants it. He's got a desire to play football, and Paolo Di Canio may have said that he might not be in his plans.
Yep, with Paolo Di Canio making any number of changes for Sunderland, another one of your old clubs, Kevin. Here is Grant Holt, who has moved to Wigan from Norwich during the course of this summer to take the place of Aruna Kone, who's now with Roberto Martinez at Everton. Craney chips the ball over the top down into the full-back position. Smalling watched it, in fact allowed it to bounce. McLean drives it straight across the 6-yard box, and Holt was there, but McLean really used power when direction to Holt maybe was the option he should have used.
But it was outstanding play by him initially, really good 1-2 with Craney, the Wigan left-back. Played a little 1-2, played it over the top of Phil Jones, and you see Phil Jones didn't track his runner, and it was good play by McLean. Just, you say there, just if it had maybe gone for a little bit more direction with his pass, tried to pick a player out instead of trying to smash it across the 6-yard box, he may be able to pick out a player.
10 minutes to go to half-time here at Wembley. 5 Live, Manchester United winning 1-0 against Wigan. United just with the ball in their own defensive third at the moment, and then Everett clears it away. Long ball towards the halfway line to give it back to the blue and white stripes of Wigan. England's 3 wickets down in their second innings in the 4th test, with a lead of only something like 20 runs or so. We'll get a latest for you in a moment, but also more to come from the World Athletics a little later as well in Moscow, when we'll be bringing you live here on 5 Live Usain Bolt in the semi-final, and you would think then the final of the 100 metres. The 100 metres final is due around about 10 to 7 UK time. As I say, you'll hear it here. But Manchester United leading through Robin van Persie's very well taken goal. A steered header from probably 16-17 yards away from goal, given the angle.
Yeah, outstanding header it was on the angle. Good ball played in by Evra, but you're saying the power he generated on the header, because it was quite a tame cross really going into the box, so he had to generate his own power from it. Outstanding play by him and a wonderful finish.
Grant Holt just in with a challenge in centre field on Chris Smalling. It was a 50-50 ball and just caught him there, and Mark Clattenburg just says, just steady down to Grant Holt, no yellow card. And Manchester United quickly getting the ball back in play, and Smalling on his feet but just hobbling a little. 1-0 Manchester United lead. England are 71 for 3. That is a lead of 39 currently over Australia, but with 3 wickets down in their second innings. More from there as and when. Giggs plays it down the left-hand side towards Evra. Evra stabs it infield, and now Manchester United on it with Cleverley, and then a turn and shot from Welbeck, saved by Carson to his left, and the ball put behind for a corner.
Well, Emerson Boyce, the Wigan fullback, just switched off for a couple of seconds there, allowing Patrice Evra to get the run on him. A really good ball played forward again by Ryan Giggs, who's been outstanding in this first half. Again, once Evra's played it inside, then it was a really good ball and a good strike then. I think it was Welbeck, yeah, good turn by Welbeck, well hit, and a good save by Carson. Yeah,
corner then to Manchester United from the right-hand side. Here it is, glancing header from Welbeck, but in amongst a crowd of players, ends up on the turf, and the ball sped away over the top of the bar.
It's been so good from United in this first half. They've dictated the whole game, and they're playing at their pace, and the same Wigan at times have chased shadows around this pitch.
Yep, so goal kick to Wigan Athletic. And once again, Owen Coyle appears on the edge of the coaching area, marching now back towards his dugout. 8 months out of the game, Owen Coyle, after his departure from Bolton Wanderers. And if you remember, the last experience he had here at Wembley was when his Bolton Wanderers team were beaten in the FA Cup semi-final by 5-0 against Stoke. And many people pointed towards that, didn't they, at the point where things really began to go wrong for Owen Coyle. So back at Wembley today and already 1-0 down in this match. But a free kick for a foul on Maloney, free kick to Wigan Athletic on the right-hand side. So McLean has come across, Watson is there as well, and Wigan Athletic with a chance from a set piece here. Emerson Boyce has come up from the back. Manchester United holding their line 2 or 3 yards inside the penalty area. Just for the time being, Maloney has gone to stand near the penalty spot. David De Gea trying to line things up. Yet to make a save in this game, yet been forced to make a save. So Wigan with the free kick, but Mark Clattenburg has blown his whistle, and there's a little bit of a conflagration at the far side of that group of players. Nemanja Vidic just being shoved away. Is it Grant Holt who's involved in that?
I think Grant Holt's been upsetting Smalling and Vidic in the last 5 minutes, so it's that's what he would want, Grant Holt. He centre forward to upset the two centre halves.
There's a try in the Super League in Hull, Dave Woods.
Yeah, it's gone to Hulkingston Rovers. They lead by 6 points to 0. They might be on the way to scoring another one here because they're on the break. Eden puts the kick in, actually hits the Hull fullback Jamie Shaw on the head and bounces to safety. But the try in the 19th minute, a Dobson pass, Liam Salter running into a gap. It actually bounced off his chest. He had to run 5 yards to catch the ball before it hit the ground. He did so, and he scored the try. Dobson has kicked the goal. Hulkingston Rovers attacking again here on the 6th tackle, looking if they can get there, but they can't. It's a forward pass, so it remains Hull KR 6, Hull 0.
Here's the Wigan free kick, which is taken in by McLean, but poor delivery, headed away by United easily. Comes back to McLean, who's then beaten in the challenge by Ryan Giggs, who, well, he thought he'd then been fouled by Watson, but no free kick being given. So Wigan have it back, and the ball's just been passed straight out of play by MacArthur, who apologised to everyone and is mocked roundly by the Manchester United supporters.
Again, it was brilliant by Giggs. It looked to me like he was fouled as well. It was a wonderful challenge on McLean. He got up, I think he got a little nutmeg on Ben Watson as well. Tried to get round the other side of him, and Ben Watson just blocked him off, but the referee didn't see it that way.
Manchester United winning 1-0. We're into the last 5 minutes of the first half. United, who will feature in a number of our early commentaries once the Premier League gets underway. You'll hear Manchester United against Chelsea and Manchester United against Arsenal in the opening weeks of the new season, amongst our 128 live Premier League games on 5 Live during the course of this season. But here in the Community Shield, Manchester United winning 1-0, and Pat Murphy has the latest from the test.
England scoring at 4 and over, despite the parlous position they found themselves in when they were 49 for 3, in effect 17 for 3. Peterson on 16, Bell on 19. Bell has just played the most beautifully delicate shot down to third man, guiding it, watching the ball at the last instant. High-class boundary. It's the kind of shot when he gets caught at second slip or behind the keeper, behind the wicket by the keeper, everybody would excoriate him for, but it was a glorious shot. The lead is 52, England 84 for 3.
And I think I heard Alex Stewart say if England could get a lead of 250, but they are some way off that just at the moment. But Pat will keep us across that during the course of today and the next couple of days, however long it takes. Throw-in for Wigan on the right-hand side, in front of where the new Manchester United manager David Moyes is standing with his hands on his hips, nodded out of play. Another throw, now halfway inside the Manchester United half. Boyce to take this in his yellow boots. Boyce is then challenged by Carrick. The ball runs free, stabbed away by Evra towards the halfway line. I must say, Kevin, Wigan have finally come into it to a certain extent, you would say?
Yeah, the disappointing free kick by James McLean just down here, really. I think that was a really good opportunity for Wigan to put the ball into the United penalty area and really test De Gea out in goal. But I think they have come into it. I've been quite impressed with James McLean, the way that he started. He would have wanted to really make an immediate impact in the Wigan shirt. So, you know, there's a few positive signs in the last few minutes of Wigan, certainly.
Yep, but Manchester United leading through the early Van Persie header. United not in possession now. It's with Craney on the left-hand side, and then he goes back towards James Perch, who pulls it square towards Barnett, who with Welbeck not too far away touches it immediately back to goalkeeper Carson, who goes long. Holt tries to flick it on, comes back to him. There he is again, Holt barging around, and he should just have been fouled by Nemanja Vidic, so it's a free kick to Wigan on the right again.
Yeah, he looked to be leading with his arm there initially as well, Grant Holt. He felt for Vidic, put his arm up. He think he caught him round his face, that Vidic is trying to tell Mark Clattenburg there. But there's a little battle going on between those two, and it's good to see so early in the season.
Yeah, Grant Holt, who scored on his Wigan Athletic competitive debut against Barnsley last weekend, and he is nothing if not wholehearted, Grant Holt. So a free kick then. This is a little closer than the one that James McLean delivered poorly a little earlier, and Ben Watson has been left to this. Manchester United have put up a two-man wall. We're in the 44th minute. Manchester United leading 1-0. Watson plays it in now towards the back post. It's headed back across, and then a stretching effort from Barnett. Well, he was stretching and didn't really get to it, and wasn't able to head it anywhere near on target. Manchester United were able to clear it away. Boyce with the initial header back across, and then Barnett couldn't direct it on goal. Wigan still with it though. Here is little Maloney, scored the winner against Manchester United the season before last. Still Maloney crosses straight into a Manchester United player on the edge of the box. There were two of them there. It was Van Persie. Maloney then plays it in low, headed away, stooping header, a diving header really by Vidic, and Manchester United hit it away downfield where Craney deals with it and sees it back to the goalkeeper.
Yeah, a couple of testing moments. Good ball played in by Ben Watson to the far post. I think Emerson Boyce just got beyond the ball, didn't he? He was more or less on the byline when he headed it back across goal. I think if he'd maybe timed his run a little bit better, he would have been able to move on to it and got his header on target.
Just suffered a little bit of cramp there, Kevin. Just had to straighten my leg. It can happen at Wembley. Not often in the commentary box though. Manchester United with Robin Van Persie, who was beaten by Barnett, and so Wigan have got it back and play it forward with Craney. Last minute of the first half, we'll see the fourth official very shortly. No referrals yet, Kevin, to the goal decision system, I notice.
No, there'll be a big thing when that
won't they just
happens, of course, won't it? So we'll see how. I mean, we spent a bit of time with the referees over the summertime, seeing how this system works, and apparently it's going to be. They're saying to me it's foolproof. Will it be? I don't know, but you're hoping it's going to be conclusive anyway.
Yes, they said the Titanic was unsinkable, didn't they? But there are apparently 14 cameras, 7 at each end. And I was talking to Richard Conway, our sports news correspondent, who was there at the Arsenal Stadium when it was launched the other day, and he said that they have been assured that the referee will know within a second, whether the ball is over the line or not. Here is Wigan. We've got 1 minute of added time at the end of the first half. Manchester United, the league champions, winning against the FA Cup winners. And it is Wigan with James McCarthy, who just wanders out towards this right-hand side, and then Grant Holt takes his eye off the ball and allows it to run out of play rather carelessly, and then glares over his shoulder at McCarthy as if it was all his fault.
It was actually a good play by McCarthy, wasn't he? I think he beat Van Persie initially, played it out to Grant Holt and just misjudged it.
So half-time whistle goes, and Manchester United lead through that very good goal from Robin Van Persie, the header from Patrice Evra's-Cross, and deservedly ahead, Cap.
Yeah, excellent start. There's been one or two positive signs for Wigan in the last 5 or 10 minutes, but certainly that first half has been dominated by Manchester United, and it was a wonderful finish by Van Persie.
Yep, so all the talk about Wayne Rooney, it's Robin Van Persie who scored the goal that means Manchester United lead the FA Cup winners Wigan by 1-0 at half-time here at Wembley in the Community Shield.
How's the cramp?
Cramp's okay.
Okay, I see you've got your socks rolled down. You're taking the shin pads out.
Yeah,
this happens. It's a big pitch.
Yeah.
It's day 3 of the 4th Ashes Test. Let's get the latest from Alex Stewart and Pat Murphy. Oh, they're not there. I'm sorry about that. Okay, there's ball-by-ball commentary, by the way, over on Sports Extra. Shall we check on England's women, find out how they're faring against Australia? Charlie Dagnall.
Thanks, Ian. 119 for 2, and since that wicket of Meg Lanning just after lunch, Australia have accumulated slowly, but now they're starting to be a little bit more expansive. Anya Shrubsole has bowled beautifully for England. How she hasn't got 2 or 3 wickets more is beyond me, but she's bowling very, very well into quite a long spell from the Dibley end. Danny Hazel, the off-spinner, not quite got the radar right at the moment. Sarah Elliott is 40 not out, joined by Jess Cameron, who's 16 not out. But Australia going nicely in the sun here. 52 overs gone. England will feel that they just need a couple more breakthroughs, and they're right into this Australian middle order. 119 for 2 the score.
Ball-by-ball commentary of that match is on the BBC Sport website. Right, a really crucial partnership for England. Here is Pat Murphy and Alex Stewart, who are pretty good as well.
A letter has flooded in. 85 for 3 England. The lead is 53. Bell 20. Peterson 16. Alex Stewart, England's best 2 players here?
Best two remaining, most certainly, and most dangerous players. Peterson, we know, can take the attack to any bowler on any surface. We're going to need something special from Peterson, and Bella's been a form player throughout this series, 200s to his name already. So we've spoken about England will want a minimum of 250 going into the last innings of the game. Australia will be trying to restrict England to anything less than 200.
Alec, England supporters will say it's about time Pryor and Bairstow made some runs, so why should they worry too much that they would get the 200 plus?
Yeah, people also said we needed runs from Cook, Root and Trott, and that didn't happen. So there's a lot of work to be done. England are finding this very, very difficult to take, not so much take the attack, but take control of the situation against the likes of Harris, Bird, Watson and Siddle. It's not easy. Shortly, I think we'll see Nathan Lyon, the off-spinner, who took 4 wickets in the first innings, bowling mostly from around the wicket. So therefore, it won't be straightforward. England have got to be on their game. They've got to bat better than we've seen so far in this series.
That'll be a test of Peterson, who tends to think that all spinners are step and fetch it merchants.
No, that's true, and he doesn't rate Lyon that highly, but it's a good little battle because Peterson will look to dominate him. Lyon has got something about him. He'll throw it up, he'll bowl the odd quicker ball, he'll change his line, so it'll be a contest within a contest.
The men out: Cook for 22, Root for 2, Trott 23, all to Harris, who earlier on got what may prove to be a very important little cameo of 28 before Broad got in. Broad 5 for 71, 270 all out. Australia leading by 32, England now leading by 53 at 85 for 3.
Half-time here at the Community Shield. Manchester United lead Wigan by a goal to nil. A Robin van Persie header in that first half. After 4 o'clock this afternoon, when the football's over, our focus will shift from London to Moscow for day 2 of the World Athletics Championships, and we can cross there now with Olympic silver medalist Steve Backley, who's alongside Five Live's own Mark Pugac.
Thank you very much, Ian. Another hot, sultry, steamy afternoon here on the banks of the Moskva River. But actually, quite a lot of the track is in shade at the moment. We'll talk about the men's 100 metres later, the semi-final and final. But first of all, Steve, let's talk about Shara Proctor and just how impressively she qualified for this long jump final, which is off at 4 o'clock back home time.
Well, very impressively. Just as Mo Farah came across the line in taking gold in that men's 10,000 metres, it was a great moment for British athletics last night. And if you looked across to the other side of the stadium, it was Shara Proctor who led the field in the qualification, at least for the women's long jump, which will see the final take place in just over an hour's time. And she's in good shape. She jumped 6 metres 85 in qualification, 1 jump and off she went. She's going to need more than that if she wants to get on the rostrum, though, because you've got Brittany Rees, who's been unbeaten at global level since 2009. She won the last 2 World Championships. She won the Olympic Games. She knows how to compete at world level. And 7 metres plus is certainly going to be the case. The news we got from the video analysis after that qualification, though, that was that Shara Proctor of Britain was 26 centimetres behind the takeoff board. Now, you can do the maths and whatever, but 2 factors there. Get closer to where it's measured from, and you get the spring from the takeoff board. And Shara Proctor can clearly jump far enough to win, and let's certainly expect a medal. We talked about possibles and probables. I think she may have gone from a possible to a probable.
And very briefly, she's up against Dara Klishina, who's the Russian pin-up girl, and Blessing Ogunbare of Nigeria, who is very busy at these World Championships.
She is. We saw her run the first round of the 100 metres this morning. She's also doing the 200 metres. I mean, she's doing as much work as you're doing the heptathlon. But she goes in possibly as favourite, having talked so glowingly of Brittany Rees of the United States. Blessing Ogunbare of Nigeria, bronze medalist in 2008, and then has been a bit scratchy, but everyone's saying she is the person to beat. She's only lost this year once. It was to Brittany Rees, though. So it looks as though they're the 2 tussling for gold, but Shara Proctor could certainly put it up amongst them when you'd think that she's 3rd to jump in that final. That's an opportunity for her to take it to them.
That will start about 4 o'clock your time back home. At 4:05, the first of the 3 semi-finals. That's confusing Steve and I. How can you have 3 semi-finals? But that's been going on in athletics for a long time. Harry Akins-Arite up against Justin Gatlin and Jimmy Vico of France. The second semi-final, James Dasaolu and Dwayne Chambers, along with Kemar Bailey-Cole, who Donovan Bailey was saying maybe the heir apparent to Usain Bolt, who's in the 3rd semi-final, which frankly looks a walkover for him, doesn't it? So the British interest in semi-final 1 and 2, Steve, your thoughts on that?
Yeah, and it's the second one with Dwayne Chambers and James Dasaolu where surely, one of those guys we're hoping can get through. Harry out in lane 9 in the first heat. We've got Justin Gatlin, Nesta Carter, Richard Thompson, and the very impressive Frenchman Jimmy Vicao. That's a big test for Harry AA, and at 24, you know, he should be in his peak, but he's going to need all of it to progress through to the final, an hour and a half later on. And that second one, though, James Assaulu, of course, very impressive in the British trials, 9.91. He didn't look that good in his first round getting through to this semi-final. Looked, his shoulders are up around his ears, he slowed up before the line, he made a mess of it. So maybe it's the experience of Dwayne Chambers, also out in lane 9, who's the best of the British hopes to get through to the final.
And keep an eye out, Ian, for Kemar Bailey Cole of Jamaica. He's very tall and rangy, just like Usain Bolt, his hero, is. And Donovan Bailey was saying, just keep an eye on this young man, because obviously with no Gay, with no Powell, with no Blake, that there is an opportunity for others. Maybe a little bit like horse racing, you know, when you bet without the favourite because you know he's going to win. If you ignore Bolt, as it were, the battle for silver and for bronze, that young Jamaican somebody to keep an eye on, along with the British runners.
Thanks very much, and we'll be with you in Moscow after the football here in London, when of course Manchester United lead Wigan by 1-0 after that first half of the Community Shield. There are 2 games in the Scottish Premiership. A kick-off at 3 o'clock with Kilmarnock at home to St Johnstone and Aberdeen away at Motherwell. Ian Turner.
Yes, both sides won their opening Premiership fixtures. Motherwell with a late winner at Hibs and Aberdeen with a 2-1 home win against Kilmarnock. Having lost in Europe in midweek, Stuart McCall reverts to a side more akin to that which won on the opening day. From that side, Lawson and McHugh dropped to the bench. Francis Angol and the goal scorer that day, Henri Anier, step up. Derek McInnes also makes 2 changes. Barry Robson hasn't recovered from a knee injury, and Clark Robertson drops to the bench as Peter Pollitt and Michael Hector come in.
Earlier this afternoon, it finished Hearts 1, Hibs 0 in the Edinburgh Derby. In the Sky Bet League 1, Coventry playing their first home game of the season. They're playing Bristol City, but they're playing it at Northampton's Sixfields ground. Mike Sewell.
Indeed, and it's very difficult at the moment, Ian, to determine how many Coventry City fans have turned up for this game, partly because I'm sitting at the back of the main stand, but there are certainly around about 1,000 Bristol City fans here, possibly a few more than that, maybe the equivalent of the Coventry fans in the majority of the West Stand, but some of them outside have protests in a small number. There was a banner outside that said, if you're a true Sky Blue, do not enter. But the majority of those who've arrived in Northampton today have come into the stadium to watch. And interestingly, there's a hill. If you know Sixfields, it's kind of tucked into a little valley, so to speak, and there's a hill behind one of the stands, and fans often watch there because you can see the majority of the pitch, and someone's dubbed that Jimmy's Hill for today.
Oh dear. Leicester City playing Leeds United at 4:30 in the Championship. Updates from there. And it's half-time in 3 Women's Super League games that kicked off at 2. Arsenal Ladies 3, Everton Ladies 0. Birmingham City Ladies 0, Doncaster Rovers Bells 0, and Lincoln Ladies 1, Chelsea Ladies 0. It's half-time at Craven Park in the Super League, the Hull Derby. Dave Woods, it's not quite half-time.
Not quite, no, we've got about 4 minutes left to play, but it is 6 points apiece. Hull have just got a try back. Jacob Miller reaching over. The video referee has given it after some thrilling play by Arundel Briscoe, and Eamon Tickle has just added the goal, so we're all square. This, of course, a fixture which almost demands a few fiery moments. We had a less than polite discourse which led to the sin-binning of Kirk Eamon and Josh Hodgson earlier in the game. Holkingston Rovers currently down to 12 men because David Hodgson has now been sin-binned as well. But 4 minutes to half-time. It's Holkingston Rovers 6, Hull FC 6.
Elsewhere, Hannah England is into the semi-finals of the 1500 metres at the World Athletics Championships. Laura Wakeman failed to qualify this morning, as you've been hearing. Elsewhere, Will Sharman qualified for the 110 metres hurdle semis, with Nigel Levine making the 400 metre semis, and Asher Phillip in the women's 100 metres. Elsewhere, Jim Furyk takes a one-shot lead into the final round of the US PGA Championship. After a third round 68, moved him to 9 under par. Rory McIlroy and Lee Westwood are just in contention there on 3 under par. And there's commentary on the final round from 9 here on 5 Live. And in tennis, Andy Murray is in the doubles final of the Montreal Masters with his partner Colin Fleming. That one gets underway at about 5:30. And here at Wembley, as if we needed reminding that Manchester United are a global brand, alongside the Manchester United flags draped over the middle tier, saying things like Macclesfield Reds and One Love, I can see one from Norway's, I think it's Norway, isn't it? Bergen Reds. And just a little further along, one I hadn't seen before, Sierra Leone Reds. The whole world is definitely here. And Manchester United very much, they've dominated the first half, and of course they've dominated the attendance as well, with well over 2/3 of the crowd being Manchester United fans. We'll be back for the second half. First, let's get the latest news headlines at almost 3 o'clock with Suzanne Chislett.
On digital radio, digital TV, mobile and online.
This is BBC Radio 5 Live.
The Chief Constable of Northern Ireland, Matt Baggott, says he hopes a controversial Republican parade due to get underway in County Tyrone shortly will pass off peacefully. More than 50 police officers were injured trying to separate loyalist protesters from Republicans holding another parade in Belfast on Friday. The former newspaper tycoon Eddie Shah has angered child welfare campaigners by saying underage girls who go out to have a good time and have sex with adults should take the blame. He was cleared last month of raping a girl in the 1990s when she was aged between 12 and 15. Another Labour MP has criticised the party's failure to produce coherent policies for the next general election. Graham Stringer says Labour's stance on welfare, education and housing isn't clear. Yesterday, the Shadow Health Secretary, Andy Burnham, said the party had until the spring to pose a real challenge. A 22-year-old man arrested on suspicion of abducting a missing teenage girl from Sheffield has been released on bail. Police say they're growing increasingly concerned about Erika Kachikova, who's 13 and hasn't been seen since Monday. And the Treasury's insisted it's taken action to help people with the cost of living. It's after official figures showed wages in the UK have fallen by 5.5% in real terms in the last 3 years. Travel now, and the M69 in Leicestershire. There were delays and the road was closed southbound because of an accident that happened between Junction 1 Hinckley and the M6. In the last few minutes, the air ambulance has cleared the scene there. Now all but one lane has reopened, so there are still delays in the area, but it's easing. In Berkshire, the London-bound M4, slow traffic towards Junction 4B, that's the M25 interchange. It's after an earlier accident blocked one lane. In Lincolnshire and Skegness, the A52 Roman Bank, that's closed both ways around North Shore Road after an accident. There's been a fuel spillage on the A11 Newmarket Road at Cringleford in Norfolk, and that's causing delays at the Thickthorn roundabout. And near Basildon, still long delays on the A13 heading towards London. That's through the roadworks at Stanford La Hope, and it's affecting traffic between the Five Bells interchange and the Manaway. Suzanne Chislett, 5 Live Travel.
Epilepsy affects 1 in 240 children in the UK.
Sheila Fogarty.
On Tuesday, Sheila and the health team look at the treatment of young people with epilepsy by schools and the healthcare system. She'll hear that some hospital trusts ignore guidelines on giving children access to a specialist nurse, and that many schools don't know how to handle a child with the disorder.
Self-esteem is a big issue for these children. A significant minority have difficulties with depression and anxiety.
Plus, you'll hear from doctors, children, parents and charities.
Sheila Fogarty.
Tuesday at 12.
On BBC Radio 5 Live.
After the football here at Wembley, the Community Shield, as the players begin to make their way out again, we'll have the semi-finals and finals of the 100 metres at the World Athletics Championships and comprehensive coverage from our team in Moscow. And of course, we're just 6 days away from the start of the new Premier League season. 128 live commentaries, more than any other UK broadcaster on BBC 5 Live this season. And the cricket's not bad either. Let's go to Pat Murphy.
It's gripping, tremendous, authentic Test cricket. Peterson's on 20. He must be saying to himself, now that Nathan Lyon has come on the bowler's off spin, don't get out to him as you did in the first innings. Bell playing very securely on 25. They've taken England from 49 for 3 to 94 for 3, the lead 62.
Thank you very much indeed, Pat. Ball by ball commentary is on Sports Extra and Radio 4 Longwave, and then the commentary ball by ball of the Women's Ashes Test match. That can be found on, of course, the BBC website. Dave Woods, half-time in the Hull Derby in Super League.
It is. Hull Kingston Rovers edging it 8 points to 6. Michael Dobson with a penalty right on the hooter. Jacob Miller's try for Hull. Liam Salter's try for Hull Kingston Rovers. It's very close at half-time. Hull KR 8, Hull 6.
Already a goal at Motherwell, Ian Turner.
It only took 40 seconds. Aberdeen defence fast asleep. Last week's scorer Henri Anier, the Estonian, he beat the offside trap. A cool as you like finish. It's Motherwell 1, Aberdeen 0.
Right, here we go with the second half just about to kick off. Kevin Kilbane is alongside John Murray.
And there are no substitutions at half-time, which has slightly surprised me, with both managers able to make 6 of them in this game. We did have one in the first half with Raphael injured and limping off after only quarter of an hour, and Chris Smalling coming on for him. So I'll run you through the teams in a moment. But Manchester United get the second half underway, leading as they do through that Robin van Persie header with almost exactly 6 minutes on the clock from the Evra cross from the left-hand side. So Manchester United in possession in the shadows on the far side, with still thousands of people yet to come back to their seats for the start of the second half. Empty red seats all around the stadium. United with De Gea in goal, substitute Smalling in central defence with Vidic, Jones having started the match in central defence, Phil Jones at right back, Evra at left back, Carrick, Cleverley and Giggs in midfield, Zaha on the right, Welbeck on the left and Van Persie up front. And the Wigan team as it started the game: Carson in goal, Boyce, Barnett, Perch and Craney, Watson, McCarthy and MacArthur, Maloney and McLean, with Holt up front. And Manchester United, Kevin Kilbane, for those who weren't listening in the first half, very good value for their lead.
Yeah, outstanding, certainly for the first 30-35 minutes of the game. Wigan had a couple of half chances really towards the end of the first half, but Man United totally dominant. Ryan Giggs and Van Persie certainly instrumental in that as well.
It's been a slightly sleepy afternoon at times in this lovely warm sunshine, and people just wandering back to their seats now as Watson takes this free kick but overhits it into the arms of David De Gea, who I must say has had a very quiet afternoon so far, Manchester United's man in green.
He looks so much more confident and assured. I think he had a really good end to the season last year as well, but he looks like a Manchester United goalkeeper now, which at times probably has been questioned, but he didn't look that way to me as well over the last couple of years.
No, he very much became first choice, didn't he, during the latter stages of Sir Alex Ferguson's time. But again, for him, another young Manchester United player for whom it's a very important season. He was, of course, part of the Spanish team that won the Under-21 championship in Israel at the end of last season, was their goalkeeper at the tournament. And it is Manchester United with Jones, who's just beaten to it, claimed that the ball had gone out of play before it was backheeled into play by McCarthy. Referee Clattenburg says no, play on. So Wigan coming forward in the blue and white striped shirts, playing from right to left. And the FA Cup winners in possession with their captain Emerson Boyce, who plays it infield towards the man who scored the winning goal, Ben Watson. Now to the left-hand side to Craney, who picks out a pass down the left to McLean on his debut for Wigan, who is challenged by Zaha and is caught as well. I thought he took the ball, but referee Clattenburg says he took the man as well, so it's a free kick to Wigan.
Yeah, it was a poor touch actually by James McLean. He's trying to open his body out so he can put a cross in first time, but his touch got a little bit too close to his body and it allowed Zaha to get back and make the challenge. So again, the men have come up from the back. Barnett and Boyce. See James Perch in there as well. I saw him score for Newcastle at Old Trafford against Manchester United last season. Watson plays it in. It's a good delivery as well, but was headed away by United and then hooked further away by Zaha, where it's allowed to bounce out of play by McLean for a throw-in to Wigan, who started the second half well. Back it goes towards Craney, and he rolls it to the left here to James MacArthur. And now Craney again has time on the ball to put his foot on it and then hit it forward, probably 40-50 yards towards the far side, but it was headed away by Vidic. But it comes back for Wigan through the middle. Maloney, and then it's taken up and swept towards the left-hand side to McLean, who ran his foot over it and holds his face with his hands because he ran it straight out of play for a throw. Yeah, again, he's trying to do the right thing. He's trying to get out his feet to whip a cross in early, James McLean, but just a poor touch from him, allowing it to run out of play. But I was just noticing from that free kick that went in a couple of minutes ago there by Ben Watson, outstanding defensive header by Danny Welbeck. You know, he got himself in a position and attacked the ball, and it just goes to show as well the qualities that he has to his game as well that's probably underestimated. Yeah, Manchester United, again, if you weren't listening in the first half, obviously no Wayne Rooney, still say United has this shoulder injury. Ball played in towards the edge of the United box where it is headed away and then played away towards Welbeck. Well, that was a lovely shift of feet from Welbeck, who was blatantly fouled by MacArthur, but picked himself up quickly, and in fact referee Clattenburg has brought it back so he can show MacArthur the yellow card for that. Yeah, I think you probably look at it two ways. There was a cynical foul. Man United were disappointed, but from a Wigan's perspective there, it was probably a clever foul. He'd gone the wrong side of McCarthy. He was driving right at the defence, and McCarthy just clipped his heels and give the foul away. Great turn though by Welbeck. Welbeck again in possession through the middle, plays it out towards the right hand side to Zaha. Zaha angles it back towards the edge of the area. Welbeck is there. He tees up the shot that is dragged wide by Cleverley, who is slightly off balance, I think, and it's behind for a goal kick. And from Wembley to the Riverside and Pat Murphy.
will beat a Pat in just a moment or two, but it's a goal kick for Wigan Athletic. Cleverly was just stretching, he just snatched at it really, Kevin, didn't he, the shot wide?
Yeah, I mean, he had a clear view on goal, didn't he? But it was really good injection of play by Man United. They just took a quick free kick. Before you knew it, they were around the back of the Wigan defence in one or two passes. Really, really quick play by him. Good ball play back by Zaha. Just couldn't find cleverly to find cleverly, just in the right position.
Manchester United winning 1-0. If you've just joined us on 5 Live, you're very welcome to the new-ish football season, the Community Shield. And Wigan with the ball halfway inside their own half, so it's a good time to go to Pat Murphy.
Peterson and Bell are both on 26, playing very well in their contrasting styles. England inching towards some sort of respectability on 101 for 3. The lead is now 69.
Thank you, Pat. Test match special for the commentary. And as soon as we're done here at Wembley, we'll be straight to Moscow, where top of the bill today is the 100 metres. It's the final later, but I think it's round about 4:05 the semi-finals begin, so Usain Bolt obviously involved, and we'll bring it to you here on 5 Live. Ball with Wigan on the right-hand side. The cross from Watson is blocked by Giggs, out of play for a throw-in to Wigan Athletic. Now, of course, in the Championship, after their 8 seasons in the top flight, having never been involved in the top flight of English football before. And when you think about that, just that, the fact that they were able to come up and stay there for 8 consecutive seasons, never mind the fact that they were able eventually to win the FA Cup, but becoming the first team to win the FA Cup and be relegated in the same season. And I've felt, particularly in recent years, the last 3-4 years, that the support, which has been, it's been a bit of a laughing stock, hasn't it, for a period of time. I feel that is building for Wigan Athletic, and they do have a greater support than they did do probably 5-6 years ago.
Yeah, and there's a lot of work within the community there at Wigan as well that's been ongoing for the last few years, especially since they've got into the Premier League. But it's always going to be work in progress there at Wigan. They've come from having 2,000 and 3,000 10-15 years ago at Springfield Park to getting 20,000 at the DW Stadium.
Here's McLean doing well down the left, pulls the cross over, but it's low and is straight at Smalling, who is able to play it calmly away. And then Zaha tried to put it out off the shins of Craney, but missed. So straight out of play from Zaha for a throw-in to Wigan, level with the edge of the Manchester United penalty area. Wigan, I would say, have pretty much started the second half as they finished the first, which is encouraging from their point of view. Manchester United, though, leading by 1-0. Now it is with MacArthur, whose yellow card is the only one that Mark Clattenburg has shown during this game. I'm sure that a referee on an occasion like this will try and show restraint, although it's never always been possible in the charity/community shield. If you remember Kevin Keegan and Billy Bremner, probably before even you were at primary school, Kevin. Here's Craney with the ball on the left-hand side. Gives it to McLean again. Wigan Athletic parked in Manchester United's half. And there's a good ball for Craney for McLean to run on to, but he'll do well to reach it before it crosses the byline, but he did do. And the challenge came in from Smalling to put it behind for a Wigan corner, their first of the game.
Yeah, again, really good play by James McLean. Trying to send Phil Jones short, sending it a good ball back to Craney over the top. He ran in behind Phil Jones. Phil Jones wasn't tracking his runner well enough, and he's got a little bit of joy from those 1-2s with Stephen Craney there today.
Well, Ben Watson, you would think, won't score from this corner at Wembley because he's taking it, and he's just placing it in the quadrant. Wigan players grouped around the edge of the box, although there's one of them inside the 6-yard area, and then off they run, and in comes the delivery, and it's headed away at the near post by a falling Van Persie, out of play. And now Owen Coyle does look a good deal more familiar than he did in the first half. The shirt and tie and trousers have gone, Kevin, and he's now got a blue and white Wigan t-shirt, black shorts and blue socks on.
Yeah, he's probably got a hell of a sweat on down there during that first half, so decided change of the tie was necessary.
Yeah. So he does look much more familiar now with his neat side parting. Very familiar, the two managers, both new in their jobs and born just 12 miles apart. I was reading this morning, David Moyes and Owen Coyle. Free kick to Wigan that Craney plays back towards his own area. 10 minutes played in the second half. Manchester United leading by 1-0. But really, Kevin, it's been a game of relatively few chances.
No, it has. We spoke during the half-time there, saying there has been very few chances to Manchester United, considering how dominant they've been in possession. But the positive thing for me from Wigan at the start of the second half, the misplaced passes they were making at the start of the first half have seemed to have gone now. They seem to have settled, and they're making 5, 10, 15 passes at a time now and getting a little bit of a game plan together.
Just been passed a comment by someone on Twitter, I presume it's on the 5 Live Twitter feed, Manchester United fan, who said under David Moyes there's 45 minutes left now. Under Sir Alex it was 45 plus 6, but that is how it was under the manager, wasn't it? We mentioned David Moyes. It must be a strange feeling for Sir Alex Ferguson as well, who you would think will be watching this game. Surely he will be this afternoon somewhere, wherever he is.
I mean, he said, hasn't he, he's going to allow David Moyes to do his own thing and he'll stay away. I'm sure he's going to be at a lot of games this season, but it'll be more beneficial for David Moyes if he does, keep his distance from the players and from the playing staff here that certainly have got so much respect for him, and he's always been that go-to person for them.
Yeah, well, he is a director and he is a club ambassador now, Sir Alex Ferguson. But not as far as we're aware here this afternoon. Manchester United leading through Van Persie's goal. And here he is, Van Persie trying to lift it forward towards Cleverley. Couldn't quite get there. Perch in central defence for Wigan was able to head it down. Given away by MacArthur. Cleverley, I thought, was fouled, but referee Clattenburg plays advantage. It's with Zaha, who might also have just had a little tap on his ankles, but gets to his feet again. Zaha still going, pulls over the cross, blocked by Perch, and then cleared partially away by Barnett. And out of play, actually, for a throw on the right here.
Yeah, MacArthur didn't even look where he was playing that pass. He just played it blind. Zaha picked up possession, had a really good run, and there was 3 players on him at one stage there. He even fell over, managed to get back to his feet and get the cross into the box. Good play by Zaha.
3 o'clock kickoffs are underway. One game in League One today, the Coventry-Bristol City match. Mike Sewell.
Well, it's still Coventry City 0, Bristol City 0, almost a quarter of an hour played. In terms of an attendance here today, John, I would estimate something around the 2,000 mark, maybe a little bit more. Some Coventry fans who've obviously refused to come in and pay ticket prices are standing at the top of the hill away to my left. There's about a dozen of them up there. But in terms of the football, we've had 1 or 2 chances. Sam Baldock for City early on being sent through, but missing with a tame effort. And Connor Thomas for Coventry a moment ago having a curling shot cleared off the line by Liam Fontaine. Coventry 0, Bristol City 0.
In Scotland, Motherwell winning 1-0 against Aberdeen, very early goal, and still Kilmarnock 0, St Johnstone 0. Earlier the Edinburgh derby was won 1-0 with a late goal by Hearts at Tynecastle. Manchester United leading Wigan by 1-0 here. Next weekend, on the first weekend of the Premier League, the first of our 128 live games this season on 5 Live, is the 12:45, the very first game of them all, from Anfield, Liverpool against Stoke. Then at 3 o'clock it's Arsenal against Aston Villa. On Sunday, Jose Mourinho's first Premier League game back as Chelsea manager at home to Hull City. And then on Monday night, Manchester City against Newcastle with Pellegrini in charge. United with Welbeck to Van Persie, edge of the area, shoots left foot, deflected in. It's 2-0 to Manchester United. A wicked deflection, a big deflection, but Van Persie's claiming it, and if it's given to him, that's 2 goals for United, 2 goals for Van Persie, and Manchester United 2, Wigan Athletic 0 in the Community Shield.
Yeah, Wigan allowed Patrice Evra so much space down Manchester United's left there. He come across field, he played a really good ball into Van Persie. Van Persie trying to get back onto his left foot like we've seen so often, the way that he can do. He struck it really well. I think it deflected off James Perch into the Wigan goal. Good start here for the second half by United again.
Well, you talked about Jimmy Lumsden, wasn't it, who said to you that he thought Van Persie would get a hat-trick today, possibly. Is this his goal, or is it a James Perch own goal? We're just seeing it again on the screen here.
I think it'll go down as a Van Persie goal. The shot's on target. Usually now, they give it now to the way that he's officiated. If the shot's on target, it will be a Van Persie goal. So, although Perch couldn't do too much about it, it come at him with so much power. Really disappointing to see it deflect past Carson in goal.
And we're going to see a raft of Wigan changes here. You know, who's coming off and who's coming on? It's a little disorganised, this. Chris McCann is coming on, and so is now that's an interesting one. There's a number 32 running onto the field, unless I'm mistaken. I don't have a number 32 on my list. So we'll try and pick the bones out of that. And also Manchester United, I noticed that Zaha has just limped off the field. So Zaha has also been replaced. That's always good when that happens, when you have 4 substitutions taking place at the same time. Marc-Antoine Fortuné is the number 32. Good, Adam down as number 13. United coming forward, the ball crossed from the right. Valencia has come on for United. It was his cross. This is deflected, but deflected into the arms of Scott Carson, who's able to make the catch. So we know that for sure, that Antonio Valencia, who for this season has reverted to number 25, having used the number 7 last season. So Valencia is on for Zaha.
There may be a little bit of superstition from him there. Antonio's again, ex-Wigan man himself, outstanding time he had at Wigan, proved what a good player he's been at Man United over the last few years, so he'll look to establish himself this season, probably after a few injuries that he's had.
Yep, he didn't have the best of seasons last season, Valencia. And Zaha, how do you feel he's done on his big day on the big stage?
He fitted in well. I mean, he made a few good passes, he made a few good runs. I thought he played quite well. I thought he settled in well enough. He didn't really have the rub of the green a few times, a few of the crosses that he made, but certainly cause for optimism from the United fans, I'm sure.
Grant Holt certainly is one of the Wigan players who has come off, and he's been replaced by Fortuné. And the other changes, McLean and MacArthur have made way for McCann and young Callum McManaman, who of course was the man of the match, or given the man of the match award during the FA Cup final here in May. Manchester United coming forward, looking for a 3rd goal now, leading through 2 goals from Robin van Persie, and Cleverley plays it towards the left hand side. Evra is there, Cleverley again with a little touch infield towards Welbeck, and now again Welbeck just looks up and plays it infield into the centre circle, where Carrick just caught in possession, but Jones is able to keep his pass in play, and Manchester United still have it. So here's Valencia freshly into the action, back towards Carrick, a low ball into the centre circle to Welbeck, and now here is Van Persie, who's dropped deep for it, runs his foot over the ball and completely fools McCann, still has it, and then Cleverley again, with Cleverley on the left hand side, and Manchester United just now keeping possession with the backdrop, the sound of the Manchester United supporters inside Wembley here, over 40,000 of them singing their songs. United actually being pressed back into their own half, but Wigan Athletic now, after a promising first quarter of an hour or so in the second half, finding themselves 2-0 behind and with an awful lot to do.
Yeah, they have. Again, it's Man United dictating the pace of the game as well. Van Persie coming off short, allowing Welbeck to go in behind at times as well. So it's just as you were certainly for the first half an hour of the first half, this second half, the way that it's progressing now.
So Wigan Athletic with it, and here is Watson, the ginger-haired Watson, just rolls it towards the right-hand side, towards Emerson Boyce. Boyce again in towards McCarthy, who rolls it back into his own half towards James Perch. So Manchester United leading 2-0 against Wigan Athletic, with the goals from Robin van Persie after 6 minutes, and just short of the hour mark, the shot being deflected in off James Perch. Here is Van Persie on his hat-trick in the Community Shield. Challenged well though, the ball runs free though out towards this right-hand side to Antonio Valencia, and now Jones low towards Welbeck. Valencia with his heels on the white line now moves in field against Craney, goes towards the byline, drives it across into the legs of Craney, and out of play for a throw-in to United near the corner flag.
Well, Antonio Valencia is much more direct than Zaha. Zaha likes to try and beat it. He's full-back with a bit more skill. Antonio Valencia, you know what he's going to try and do. He'll try and get to the byline, try and whip crosses into the box at pace. So it's a different test now for Stephen Craney, the Wigan left-back.
Jones waiting to take the throw. Giggs and Valencia have come short, and Valencia loses out to Watson, and Valencia tackles back. Watson will have to be careful here, and he does just poke it to Leon Barnett, who turns it away to Boyce on the right hand side. So 2-0 to Manchester United here on BBC 5 Live. As soon as we've done here at Wembley, it'll be straight to Moscow. Mark Pugac will be hosting things from the World Athletics Championships, and that will include Usain Bolt in the men's 100 metre semi-finals at 4:05 and the final is at 10-7. And also Christina Hurrigu goes for Britain in the women's 400-metre semi-final at 5:05. So those are your timings for Moscow for later. You'll hear it all here on 5 Live. And Manchester United looking for a third goal which would finish this contest. Giggs towards Valencia on the right-hand side. Jones outside him. Valencia in towards Giggs as the sun just disappears again for a moment. Welbeck tries to flick it through, but it fails. It's blocked on the edge of the area. Giggs looks to the heavens, and Wigan's blue and white stripes break away downfield. It is with McCann, Chris McCann, played for Owen Coyle at Burnley, of course. Now to the right-hand side, where Boyce is able to trot over the halfway line. The way that he does that certainly has "it's hot out here" written all over his body language. Then low and forward it goes from him towards McCann. Now back into his own half, and Wigan have to build again from inside their own territory. Anderson is going to be the next Manchester United player to come onto the field, but the ball is played for Maloney to chase, but Craney overhits that, and we will see the change now for United. And it is, as I'm sure he was going to be at some stage during the course of the game, Ryan Giggs makes way after almost 3/4 of the match. Ryan Giggs being applauded off and replaced by Anderson in the Community Shield.
Yeah, I see a lot of the Wigan fans even applauding Ryan Giggs off there. He's been outstanding today, he has, and it shows how big influence he has over this Man United side and how much of an influence he's going to have this season and perhaps in the coming years as well. Certainly if he takes up a coaching role further down the line for himself as well and relieves his duties as a player.
Yeah, and as Ryan Giggs takes his seat behind David Moyes in the sunshine, we'll head for an update on the test match from Pat Murphy.
Peterson is reining himself in against Lyon. He's on 27. It's taken him 46 balls. You just get the sense he'd love to launch himself at the off-spinner, but he can't given the state of the game. Bell playing very calmly and in orthodox fashion within himself on 35. 111 for 3. The lead is 79. 15 minutes to tea. That's going to be an important staging post for England, John.
Thank you, Pat. And Ian Turner will give us the latest from Motherwell in the Scottish Premiership.
25 minutes gone. Motherwell still lead by that goal in 40 seconds after Henri Agnier, but it's Aberdeen who have done most of the pressing since then. Willow Flood influential in the middle. Peter Pollitt playing well. He's just been brought in following injury today. He's hit the bar with a rasping shot from 20 yards. Motherwell still in front though.
And it's still Kilmarnock nil, St Johnstone nil in the other 3 o'clock kick-off. Still Coventry nil, Bristol City nil in League One. And just as a little footnote on the cricket, there will be a cricket phone-in on 5 Live tonight. A 6-6 phone-in follows 5 Live Sport at 7:30 this evening if you want to get involved in that. But Manchester United leading Wigan by 2-0 in the FA Community Shield, sponsored by McDonald's, with Anderson into the action for the first time for United, passing the ball through via a little deflection. It's taken towards the edge of the box by Evra. Now Welbeck, infield towards Van Persie. Welbeck now, very good challenge by Perch. Ball still in play. Valencia shoots, and he's dragged it wide of the far post via a deflection for a corner.
Yeah, just a little bit hesitant there, Valencia. I think he might have checked on his left foot to maybe get a strike inside Craney there, but Craney did well to hold him up and deflect the shot wide of the post, but really good break by United there, especially Patrice Evra.
So a corner for United from the left-hand side, and here's the delivery in towards the near post, where it is headed up in the air. Carson, a little bit of indecision, only half headed away by Boyce, and then bounces down for McCarthy to run it away, and he is fouled by Vidic, and it's a free kick to Wigan in their own right back position. Kevin Kilbane.
Yeah, I think Vidic thought that McCarthy would have got away from him there and set Wigan off on an attack, so a bit of a cynical foul there by Vidic. But you know, there has been positive signs through this second half back from Wigan, but United again, as soon as they scored that second goal, have just been so dominant in possession, and Wigan have found it difficult to take the ball off them at times.
I read in the match programme this morning that no Manchester United manager has won a trophy outright in his first season in charge. And the reason the word outright is there is because apparently Dave Sexton, when he took over as Manchester United manager, shared the Charity Shield, as it was then, with Liverpool in 1977. So if David Moyes is able to win the Charity Shield, he's done something that no other Manchester United manager has ever done.
I think it does just relieve a little pressure for him as well, John, because everyone recognises there's huge amounts of pressure on him. this season, replacing Sir Alex Ferguson, but it'll just relieve that tension of winning that first trophy that I'm sure he's had and I'm sure he's been feeling since he took the job.
And, you know, as I say, this game was referred to as a no-win situation for David Moyes. In fact, we'll come back to this because Mike Sewell has news on Coventry-Bristol City.
Well, one thing Leon Clark can say is that he scored Coventry City's first goal at Sixfields, at home in inverted commas, because they've taken the lead here against Bristol City. Scored from the penalty spot after a foul by Aidan Flint on Callum Wilson had been put through. And Coventry have had the best chances and been the better side so far, and they're deservedly in front by a 0-0.
Thank you, Mike. Owen Coyle has made another 2 changes, and Sean Maloney and Ben Watson have come off the field to replaced by Jody Gomez and Roger Espinosa, the wild-haired Honduran who has taken up a position in midfield. So that is now 5 of his 6 changes that he can make, Owen Coyle, and clearly with the long season that potentially lies in front of Wigan Athletic in the Championship and the Europa League, as we mentioned in the first half, he is going to use all of them.
Yeah, he's going to need them this season. I think it's a minimum for Wigan this season, 56 games, so they've got a huge season ahead of them. And all these players that have come on today all played key roles in Wigan winning the Cup last season, so they're all going to play a huge role this season, I'm sure.
Yeah. Just before we went to Mike, I was going to make the point, you know, about it being a no-win match for David Moyes. If Manchester United see this through from the position in the game that it's been, I would say it's been a pretty good day for him.
Yeah, of course. And I mean, the way they've been playing pre-season, there was a bit of question mark over the form. It's about the competitive games, and I'm sure they've come back on. I mentioned before, talking to a few of the coaching staff before the game, and they're confident. They are very confident this season, and quite rightly so, as champions. But, you know, they need to win trophies this year. This game, I suppose it's not really going to be counted as a trophy. United are going to have to win leagues and cups, but...
Free kick for Wigan. Craney plays it in. It's headed away out towards the edge of the area. McManaman's got it down on the field. Crosses via a deflection. Bounces into the path of Carrick, who's able to give it away to Espinosa, who hits a dropping volley well wide of the goal from the right-hand side, and Evra has collapsed in a heap on the far side of the penalty area. But Espinosa went for goal, but a goal kick to United.
Yeah, he just didn't catch it right, did he? Just going back to the point there on United, just saying that, I mean, they have to. I think David Moyes recognises the club that he's at. We all recognise United as a manager. You've got to win. You've got to be challenging for the Premier League, winning Premier League trophies, challenging in Europe, and challenging for FA Cup trophies as well. So it's a difficult season for them, but he's certainly got the personality to take it.
Wigan Athletic 2-0 down here. Wigan's rugby league team will be here a week on Saturday. You'll hear that on 5 Live. Dave Woods will be here. Today Dave's in Hull.
Yes, watching Hull, he'll also be there, and they're winning against Hull Kingston Rovers 12 points to 8. They've just got a penalty try, big kick to the corner. Briscoe knocked it back. Yeaman kicked it into the in-goal area, but as he was chasing it, Travis Burns tackled him without the ball, so the referee went to the video and the video screen, and the video referee gave the penalty try. Tickle has added the conversion. It's Hull Kingston Rovers 8, Hull 12.
Thank you, Dave. Yeah, and you'll be able to listen to the Challenge Cup final, the World Athletics, the US PGA Golf tonight, which is on 5 Live at 9 o'clock. All of our many commentary matches from the world of football this season. Wherever you go with the BBC iPlayer Radio, you can download the BBC iPlayer Radio app for free from the 5 Live website, and it's now available on all Android devices, which means smartphones, tablets, etc. And I must say it's something I'm increasingly doing, listening via the website, where the quality is much better than medium wave sometimes is. And if you're listening on medium wave in the Midlands, that's much better than it is in certain areas of the country. The ball's out of play for a throw-in to Manchester United. De Gea, Evra's okay. He just took a little knock in a painful area, but he's back up on his feet. They sent the stretcher out, but I don't think that was necessary. Manchester United have still just made the 3 substitutions, haven't they? Am I right there? Zaha, Giggs and Raphael.
Right, yeah.
Yeah, so still plenty of changes that David Moyes can make if he wants to in the last 15 minutes of the game. 2-0 to Manchester United. 2 goals for Robin van Persie. The first, a very good header. The second, a shot was deflected in off James Perch. And Kevin Kelban has already ruled on that and given it to him as opposed to a Perch own goal. And I think I'll go along with you, Kevin.
Yeah, I think it was. I'm sure James Perks wouldn't want it as an own goal.
No. Ball played over the top for United. Valencia's after it. Valencia measures the cross. It was a deep one towards the far side of the penalty area. Cleverly is off after it. He's been bright this afternoon. Tom Cleverly, and now Welbeck back towards Anderson, who finds himself closed down by Roger Espinosa. So Carrick flicks a pass out towards this near side towards Jones, and then Valencia towards Carrick, and now Manchester United in possession inside the Wigan half with 10 players behind the ball, the Championship side. The attendance is 80,235, and as we've said, upwards of 40,000 of them are Manchester United supporters. They say that's the biggest following that any club side has had in this stadium since it was reopened. Now McCann plays the ball forward for Wigan, but that's asking an awful lot of Fortune, and Nemanja Vidic will take possession for Manchester United. In fact, he's been closed down by Fortune, who just gets a toe to it to put it behind for a goal kick. So just less than 15 minutes to play, and Manchester United winning 2-0, Kevin Kilbane. Well,
they are cruising at the moment. They're passing it around at will, and it's difficult for, mentioned before, Wigan to get near them, certainly in the last 10 or 15 minutes since that second Manchester United goal. But it'll certainly be a pleasing workout for David Moyes, whereas Owen Coyle will probably look at the players he's brought into the fold today, brought them back in. So I think there's so much positives probably from both sides. I think United, especially under David Moyes, he'll be very happy to get the occasion out of the way and get the victory under his belt if he can hold on.
2-0, and here are Wigan back with it with McCarthy. Then it comes back to Barnett, and Wigan have to go all the way back to goalkeeper Carson. Van Persie is buzzing around there, so Carson, yellow shirted, clears it right-footed out towards the far side where Evra heads it back for United, and now the ball has been won from Boyce by Welbeck, but just a little clumsily Welbeck is picked up for a foul on Boyce, so it's a free kick to Wigan Athletic. It's a very summertime sort of feel around Wembley today, as you will be able to tell from the crowd figure of just over 80,000. It's not full, but not too far off it, but quite a friendly, pleasant atmosphere around the ground this afternoon in these warm temperatures. Jones is fouled, so Manchester United free kick in the central third, played over the top by Anderson. Van Persie after it, but it bounces through, sort of skids through to Scott Carson, the goalkeeper.
Yeah, brilliant ball by Carrick, played forward initially as well. Good movement by Anderson, just couldn't find the path through to Van Persie.
Perch is in danger of losing it in front of his own penalty area here, but was able to recover and poke it back to Carson. Now Craney long and forward towards Fortune, who is beaten very easily in the air by Vidic. Headed forward though by Gomez towards Fortune. Espinosa making a run, but it runs through into the penalty area for De Gea to pick up. He's had a very straightforward afternoon, Manchester United's young goalkeeper, still just 22 years old, by the way. And there's been another try in Hull. Dave Woods.
It's now Hulkingston Rovers 8, Hull 18. Richard Whiting with an interception 5 yards from his own line. He's a lot of things, but he's not quick, so good for him that Jamie Shaw was there in support, the young fullback who's gone the distance. And Hull are going to get another try here as well, underneath the sticks for another try for Joe Arundel. They're taking this game by the scruff of the neck in the last few minutes. Arundel with a third of the half for Hull. They now lead by 22 points to 8.
Manchester United had a sniff of a third goal here. Van Persie had a sniff of a third goal as well. Evra speeding away down the left-hand side, pulled the ball across. Van Persie was lurking, but it was just hooked away for Wigan. Manchester United with it though. Anderson plays it square. Just over 10 minutes to play. Then we'll be straight to Moscow for a big night at the World Athletics. Now Van Persie just inside the penalty area, steers it all behind Evra, who couldn't keep it in, so it's out of play for a throw into Wigan. Kevin.
Yeah, it was another break from United. Just talking about the really good run by Evra again down the left side, trying to play it in, but Leon Barnett did really well to track Van Persie into the box and made a really good challenge to clear the danger. But again, there's so many signs there for United through this second half that they can break at will, but they just seem to be playing at a bit of a leisurely pace right now, just with the heat that's probably going around them, giving the players a break.
I'll get you another update on the England score in a moment or two. And I'd just point out as well, it could be really worthwhile listening to the final round of the US PGA on 5 Live this evening with our team at Oak Hill from 9 o'clock with Lee Westwood and Rory McIlroy. 6 shots off the lead which was where Phil Mickelson was going into the final round of the Open Championship last month, I seem to remember. Manchester United with the ball in the central third, so we'll head to Pat Murphy at the test.
Peterson's on 29, Bell on 37. We're coming up to tea now. This may well be the last over bowled by Peter Siddle. Ryan Harris has all 3 wickets. Cook for 22, Root for 2, Trott for 23. At 115 for 3, England's lead is 83.
Thank you, Pat. And the soporific nature here at Wembley is underlined by the fact that we had an attempt at a Mexican wave around the ground and no sign of Javier Hernandez. Ball played forward for Manchester United by Carrick, but he's got too much on that and it's through into the arms of Scott Carson.
Again, it's wonderful movement by Van Persie. Just comes in short as if he's going to have it to feet and then spins immediately in behind Leon Barnett there. It's great play from him.
And we are going to see Shinji Kagawa come on for Manchester United. And also their number 44, Adnan Januzaj, is going to come on as a substitute. The 19-year-old, I beg your pardon, 18-year-old. He's a Belgian under-19 international. And I was talking to Mike Phelan, who was part of our programme early on this afternoon, about him, and he said, you know, they see him this season as being very much a part of the first team picture. New name, Adnan Januzaj.
Yeah, I've heard a lot about him, certainly in youth football and reserve team football at Manchester United as well, but again, I've not had the chance to see him play, so he's a name that's been hotly mentioned at United, but this is his probably opportunity now this season to go on and progress and show what he can do.
Well, he's pencil thin, isn't he? Look at him, Kevin, down there on the touchline.
I'm sure he's an athlete, I'm sure he's a runner. The modern day footballers
He is as lean as can be. Mind you, you should be 18 years old, shouldn't you? But he's waiting to come on. Latest from the Super League is Hull KR 8, Hull FC 24. Wigan Athletic 2-0 down here in the Community Shield on BBC 5 Live. Here's Jody Gomez, who swings a left-footed pass straight at Danny Welbeck. So Manchester United are going to be off with Wigan players committed upfield. Anderson just got the ball caught up underneath his feet, and as he did so was fouled. So it's a free kick to Manchester United in the centre circle. And I think we're going to see the changes now. Changes number 4 and 5 for Manchester United. So Nemanja Vidic, no, beg his pardon, it's Danny Welbeck who's coming off. So next we see Danny Welbeck. Will be here at Wembley on Wednesday night. You would think he'd be involved at some stage against Scotland. You'll hear that on 5 Live as well. And also there will be no hat-trick for Robin van Persie because he is going to be replaced as well. But Kagawa slaps both hands, and Van Persie, who scored both goals, is given a standing ovation. No Wayne Rooney here this afternoon, but Van Persie is the hero for Manchester United. And there he is taking a seat in the dugout. So Kagawa is on, and also Adnan Januzaj, who has been playing in wide positions in the pre-season friendlies. But I'm told, well, Mike Phelan told me that his position of preference would be off the striker, so playing in a central position.
Yeah, it looks he's taken the place of Van Persie and playing straight through the middle himself here as being that lone striker. But from what you hear about him, he's a talented player that can play in any number of positions along the front line, so he'll probably play left, right, centrally. And this is all about his education as well.
Yep, just as we speak, the number 44 is the main man through the middle at the moment for Manchester United. 2-0 United lead in the Community Shield here at Wembley. And at Motherwell, Ian Turner?
Yeah, Motherwell still leading by 1-0. That early goal, 4 minutes to half-time. They've tightened up a wee bit in midfield, so Aberdeen not pressing quite as much, although Willow Flood on the ball again. He's creating most for Aberdeen, but Motherwell still in front.
And still Kilmarnock 0, St Johnstone 0 in the other 3 o'clock kick-off. Shouts from the Manchester United fans for a penalty after Evra burst into the box. All he got was a corner.
It was a great run by Evra, but it was a really good position that Mark Clattenburg took up. He was only 2 or 3 yards from the incident, so he could see clearly it wasn't a foul. Good challenge by the Wigan defender and good play by Mark Clattenburg, you've got to say.
Januzaj's first contribution is to take this corner, which he does. Carrick pulls it across. Kagawa with and I think there's been a pull in inside the penalty area, a free kick conceded, I think by Smalling, and it's a free kick to Wigan inside their own box.
Yeah, there's a bit of pinball going on really. Smalling was all over Barnett at the back.
And now a goal in League One, Mike Sewell.
No signs of homesickness, so to speak, for Coventry City, because as we approach half-time, they lead Bristol City by 2-0 now. Callum Wilson has been a real pain for Bristol City in the first half, running into the penalty area and delightfully curling one into the far corner to add to the penalty scored by Leon Clark. Coventry 2, Bristol City 0.
And it's tea at the Riverside, Pat Murphy.
Calmer waters for England at tea. They were in effect 17 for 3 when Trott was out, but now Peterson and Bell both on 37, 123 for 3, the lead 91.
Thank you, Pat. And Wigan have made their final substitution. Nua Dicko has come onto the field for James McCarthy. So that's all 6 for Wigan Athletic. With less than 5 minutes to go, David Moyes can make one more change should he so wish. But Manchester United comfortable, winning with a goal in each half from Robin van Persie. And Wigan Athletic, well, there's been no shortage of application and effort. But Manchester United, well, I must say, for large parts of the game, it looked like a Premier League team against the Championship side.
Yeah, it has done. You know, the champions, the way that Man United have played, they played full of confidence today. Started really well with that Van Persie header in the first few minutes of the game, but that just really set the tone for the match for them, and I think they have been dominant throughout this game.
United with it just outside the Wigan box. Here's Anderson on his left foot. Anderson curls it past Espinosa. It reaches Evra. And now cleverly near the left corner of the penalty area. I think he thought about curling an effort goalwards, but he didn't. He played it back to Anderson. Now up towards the edge of the box, very congested. Anderson plays it through cleverly left side of the area. He knocks it back. Everest crossed towards the back post. Craney, not sure if he got a shout. He just headed it, glancing into the full-back position where it was collected by Valencia. And then it's let down by Jones' pass to the edge of the area, which is too close to McManaman. And he was able to clear it away for Wigan, who win themselves a throw-in near the halfway line. 3 minutes of the 90 to go, 2-0 Manchester United.
Yeah, again, Manchester United dominant, aren't they, really? In the substitutions have just given them a little bit of a fresh input up, really, and the way they've gone through this second half, they've played really well. They have, certainly since that second goal, but it's just allowed them with the substitutions now to bring a bit of freshness to the team.
Another try at Hull, Dave Woods.
15 minutes to play, it's back in the boil again. Adam Walker for Hull Kingston Rovers has just dragged himself over. Dobson has kicked the goal. It's Hull Kingston Rovers 14, Hull 24.
Wigan Athletic win themselves a throw-in near the corner flag. Community Shield almost in the hands of Manchester United and David Moyes. But Wigan take this throw, and Chris McCann tries to guide it towards McManaman, but it breaks down and Manchester United played away. Espinosa has just come in there and caught cleverly, just a little over exuberant as much as anything else. He's okay cleverly, I think, and it's a yellow card for Espinosa. And there's another goal in the Coventry-Bristol City game. Mike Sewell.
Well, there's joy abounding here at Sixfields, because it's Coventry 3, Bristol City 0. Billy Daniels heading in from a cross by Frank Musa. It's all going well here for Coventry. They lead 3-0 as we approach half-time.
And Espinosa just came in at pace and just caught cleverly there, didn't he? But I think he's okay.
Yeah, it was a yellow card again. Mark Clattenburg right on the case and just give Espinosa the yellow card. There was one straight after as well. I think it was James Perch. Another challenge in Anderson, it might have been, it could have been construed as a yellow card as well, and immediately after that, but Mark Clattenburg just decided to give the yellow card to Espinosa.
Carrick, high long ball over the top. This is for Yanazé to chase, and well, the ball was bouncing and he hooked one of those pipe cleaner legs up just at the point that Barnett came in, and he caught Barnett round about the Barnett, and it's a free kick for the high foot by Yanazé, but I think Barnett is going to be okay.
Yeah, it was brave defending by Barnett. Good skill. It was in the corner there by, how do you pronounce that again, Giles?
Yanazé.
Yanazé, I'll have to get that one.
Yes, well, it's early days. That's how it is at the start of the new season, coping with all sorts of new names. Did you see on the big screen who was named as man of the match there, by the way? Because I did. Who do you think it was?
Man of the match today, it's got to be Robin van Persie, hasn't it?
No, Michael Carrick.
Really, yeah?
Yeah. Which, that's hence the reason I asked the question. I thought Van Persie would get it. But no, Michael Carrick's been given the award. I don't know who it is who has judged that, but that's what they've done. 2-0 Manchester United, and the 90 minutes are almost up. Free kick to Wigan. Gomez. Oh, that's poor. And it's headed away on the edge of the box quite easily by whoever named him the man of the match. Carrick. Wigan, as Michael Oliver, the fourth official, shows us there will be 4 minutes of added time with all the substitutions. I'm not surprised. And now it's Anderson who breaks away for Manchester United, but passes the ball straight at Emerson Boyce. Runs into the centre circle where Tom Cleverley fouls Jody Gomez, and it's a free kick to Wigan on the halfway line. And a yellow card for Cleverley for that.
Again, it looked a bit of a coming together, didn't it? There's not too much Cleverley could have done there. I mean, with him booking Espinosa only a minute or so ago, he decided that Cleverley should be given the same treatment.
2-0 Manchester United, so a very creditable win for United it's going to be. He's been able to forget about Wayne Rooney for an hour and a half, but he'll be coming here into the media centre and also speaking to us, David Moyes. We've been promised, and of course he'll be asked questions about Wayne Rooney once again, but in Rooney's absence, Van Persie has provided the goals. Wigan winning themselves a corner down the left-hand side though, and Gomez comes across to take this, and Wigan again the same routine inside the box, but it's taken short to Fortune, who is then challenged and the ball bounces out of play off Vidic for another corner to Wigan Athletic. The way to our left, a big area of empty red seats has opened up there. I'm not sure whether some of the Wigan Athletic supporters have had to make their way to public transport to get home from a Sunday at Wembley. Corner is taken short. Craney crosses it towards the penalty spot. It hits Januzaj on the edge of the box and comes back and is then fired away downfield, where it will bounce through to Scott Carson to take quite comfortably. And Espinosa herring around the field, sprints back to take the ball just outside his own box. And now Espinosa carries it towards the halfway line. Espinosa steers it towards the right, where Wigan win themselves a throw-in. And it's back to Dave Woods in Hull again.
It's Hulkington Rovers 14, Hull 30 now. So Hull back in control. Richard Whiting scoring the corner. His 200th Super League game as well today. Daniel Holdsworth's ball over the top, look forward. The locals were apoplectic, the locals in red and white, that is, as opposed to the locals in black and white. It's Hulkington Rovers 14, Hull 30.
Thank you. Coventry winning 3-0 against Bristol City at half-time in League One. Motherwell winning 1-0 against Aberdeen at half-time. And still Kilmarnock 0, St Johnstone 0. Manchester United with it on the edge of the Wigan penalty area. Januzaj does well on the left, gets the crossover, but the run towards the near post came from Valencia, and the cross was towards the back post, and Wigan were able to get it away. So Manchester United once again, I think the game is done now. Manchester United are about to become winners of this distinctive trophy for the 16th time outright. And here they come down the left-hand side, but Emerson Boyce is able just to side-foot it away. And Fortune, Wigan can't pick up the Luke's ball, so Anderson has got it back. Anderson to Carrick. Carrick passes it through towards the edge of the penalty area. Januzaj missed it. Evra though, and United try again cleverly, but Espinosa steps in, and now Cleverley and Evra have Espinosa all over them. Just got to be careful here, Espinosa, having already been yellow carded. But Evra comes out with the ball and he's off. Espinosa's chasing him, but Evra into the penalty area, goes down, but the ball had already got away from him, I think. It had just been touched away for a corner to Manchester United.
Yeah, it was a really good run again. Evra's been very positive in this second half. It was a good challenge there by Chris McCann, just to get a little toe poke on it, to put it out behind for the corner, because I think Evra was away.
Corner taken short by Manchester United, who lead 2-0 if you've just joined us. Back heel by Kagawa. Now it's back on the left-hand side with Januzaj, but he won't cross it because the final whistle has gone. And Manchester United, David Moyes' Manchester United, have won the Community Shield. They've beaten Wigan Athletic by 2-0, and in the absence of Wayne Rooney, both goals were scored by Robin van Persie. Kevin Kilbourne.
Yeah, excellent performance by Manchester United today. Robin van Persie, the real difference in the game, certainly from his finishing prowess today, but United was certainly dominant in possession throughout, dominating Wigan, and Wigan found it difficult to really put David De Gea in the Manchester United goal under any pressure at all throughout.
Yep, so David Moyes begins his tenure as Manchester United manager with a trophy in his hands. The Community Shield will be his and Manchester United's after their 2-0 win here at Wembley against Wigan Athletic.
His second trophy, do you know what his first one was?
With Preston, wasn't
Correct.
it? Yeah,
well, what is now the League One
yes.
title. Makes a difference. He's come a long way, David Moyes. This is what he said to the Press Association a couple of weeks ago. He says, I went to the World Cup in 1998 to try and learn about coaching. I wrote to all of the countries to ask if I could go and watch training. Only country who replied said yes was Craig Brown with Scotland. I was Scottish, so I'd already been on their courses. I had some tickets for some games, but not enough. I hired a small car. I was given a little bit of funding, but in the end, all I could do to afford was driving round and sleep in my car for a few nights. That's the kind of thing I did to try and find more knowledge. So there you are. There is a man who is completely and utterly dedicated to his cause. What did you make of Manchester United's outing then, Kevin?
I think they were dominant. I think they played really well at times. I think Giggs played really well. Van Persie, of course, scoring the 2 goals. He played well. Michael Carrick, man of the match today. Probably wasn't for me, but again, he made Man United tick throughout. So there's so many positives for Manchester United and for David Moyes today. And I mean, it's a start for him. You know, he's got to be challenging this year for the Premier League and for other trophies. We know that, but it certainly relieved a little bit of pressure from his point of view.
I must confess, I thought Evra had a great game because he obviously knows all the rumours about Baines coming, and he's given him a surge, hasn't it?
Yeah, we were talking about it before, weren't we, Leighton Baines? How, if he went for Leighton Baines, is he going to upset Patrice Evra if the deal couldn't go through? Now, he's got to make sure that deal goes through because Patrice Evra showed today what a quality footballer he is.
What about Zaha? What did you make of him?
Again, he had moments in the game. Certainly in the first half, he looked bright, he looked bubbly, he looked sharp, he wanted the ball, and you can tell he's confident with his new surroundings. So David Moyes has shown a lot of faith in him by giving him a start today, which is good for his own progression. But again, there wasn't too much that came off for him really, but I think he did look positive and looked comfortable in the team.
And the young 18-year-old, the Belgian Adnan Januzaj, who I must admit, I don't know if you noticed, he did exactly the same little rollover step over the ball that Van Persie did, and he kind of looks quite like him from afar, doesn't he? He'll learn a lot from him.
Well, I think you find that sometimes in clubs when there's a player with a certain stature and or the same physique as a player, you start to emulate, or you start to look at him constantly in training, watching what he does, and you start to do the similar sort of movements that particular striker does, and you can see definite similarities between him and Van Persie.
What do you make of Wigan's performance today? Could you see a different shape? Were they tighter than they normally are, or not?
Well, they didn't really get in the game, I've got to say. United started well and really dominated throughout from there, and they didn't really get the chance to impose themselves on Man United, and I thought it'd be a lot closer than it was. I thought Wigan would have had a go. For me, at times, they did look at, certainly in the early stages of the game, they went quite direct into Grant Holt, which is very unusual for what Wigan have done in recent years.
The other thing that you notice, and it's always the same with the Community Shield, apart from when Liverpool played Leeds and Bremner and Keegan got sent off, there's very little sort of physicality to the game. No one wants to get injured, and it's pretty understandable at this stage, isn't it?
Yeah, of course, and certainly you would have thought Wigan would have been more physical than Man United. You would have thought the United season hasn't started. Wigan have already had that first game last week against Barnsley. Would have been a bit more up and at them, as you could say, I suppose. But United, I think it was very easy for them, certainly through the central areas.
Right, Michael Carrick, man of the match, is with Juliet.
Yeah, Michael, just taking a bit of sup of water. It's pretty hot out there for you today, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was a little bit warm, yeah. It's typical Community Shield, really, this time of year. It always seems to be quite warm when we come here, but yeah, it was good. It was another workout. It's another game for us. You know, we look a lot better today, and it's obviously nice to come here and win.
It was, in a way, a performance you were absolutely cruising throughout the whole 90 minutes.
I wouldn't know about cruising. I think we were in control of the game, and you know, we always felt we could score, and obviously Robin's got 2 today, and you know, that's what we rely on really. So it was nice to see the goals go in, but it was nice to keep a clean sheet and a solid team performance. With
Robin's goals, the first one was Seat, the second one took a little bit of a wicked deflection, but 2-0, you can't complain at that, can you? Yeah, we take that, of course. You know, as pleasing as it for Robin to get the goals, I think it was important that we didn't concede today, and we looked solid, and as a team we look very good. So yeah, it's another stepping stone towards the season next week. And the season, tough start as well. I mean, it's a tough season for anybody, but for you, in the games you've got to start off with. Yeah, it's always tough, you know. Obviously we're playing a lot of big teams early on, and we'll have to be ready for that, but you've always got to be ready now. You know, in the past, maybe a few years ago, you could get away with starting a bit slow and catching up, but you can't do that now because whoever wins the league doesn't lose many games. So we'll be ready for next week and the games ahead. Well, enjoy your trophy presentation. All right, thank you. Cheers.
Rated with the man of the match, Michael Carrick, and Kevin Kilban. It is a very difficult start, and that first game away at Swansea, that's not a particularly easy one to start with, is it?
Yeah, Swansea, I watched them the first leg at the Liberty Stadium the other week in Europe.
Malmo.
Yeah, Malmo, they were outstanding in that game, played really well throughout, so again, they've got a bit of a start on them as well, but I mean, I thought today it would have been a lot closer, certainly with Wigan, so United have put that to bed, so it's going to be a difficult start for them, we know that, because they've got some really good players down there at Swansea, but judging by what United have shown me today, they're certainly ready for the season to start.